to going to any type of a doctor? Well, neither have I. But let me tell you, I do look forward to seeing Doctors Hutta and Price when I go to their practice. You know why? Well, it's as Dr. Hutta says. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And at Hutta and Price Orthodontics, you will know that they care from the very first visit. To find out the services that they provide or to set up a consultation, just go to their website at lovethatsmile.net. The Hartley Hawks got a big win last week in their first playoff game as they took care of Miami Trace 56-14 at Jack Ryan Field. There were plenty of good things that happened for the Hawks. Niall Johnson ran for over 130 yards, and he scored 3 touchdowns. Deontay Hubbard got into the end zone 2 times for the Hawks. Peyton Underwood, he didn't throw a touchdown pass last week, but what he did do was complete 80% of his passes, and he managed the offense extremely well. The Hawks had over 400 yards of total offense, only 76 of those yards in the air. It was a pound it and grind it running game, and that's what the Hawks did to advance in the playoffs. The other thing they did on the defensive side of the football, they were stellar. They got 4 turnovers in that game, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 interceptions. That is a key to have the defense on top of its game going into this week's matchup against London. London was a winner last week as well. These teams have identical records of 9-2, and this is going to be quite a matchup as the Hawks hit the road for the first time in the playoffs. To talk more about last week's game and all about this week's matchup, let's bring in the head coach of the Hartley Hawks, Brad Birchfield. Brad, a huge win for your team last week. Huge because it's the playoffs, huge because it was at home, and huge because you dominated Miami Trace 56-14. So you see the score, and offensively, obviously, you did a lot of good things. But when you get into the playoffs, you always talk about taking care of the football and winning the turnover battle. And you did that. You got the football from them 4 different times in that game. How pleased are you with that aspect of it, that you're able to, defensively get some things going that way?
Well, we've worked real hard on it during the year, and we're battling back from our turnover margin, and now we're in the right side of it. But we've been practicing hard, and that's the gratifying part, is you're able to see what you're practicing and able to see it translate to the field. So that was a great feeling, great validation for the kids and all the work that they've done through the year.
We talked, it was either last week or the week before, I was talking to you about Trey Saunders and how important he is to your team. And you pointed out, hey, don't forget about Richard Kenny and the way that he can make plays. When I watch Richard, and I've seen this for weeks on end, you have a play that you run quite often where it's a passing play, but Richard just kind of curls back toward the line of scrimmage, and Peyton Underwood just has to get him really what is a short pass, but he catches it in traffic with blockers. And you've run that play so many times for big yardage. How important is he to that play? Just running the pattern, catching the football, and then reading off the blocks.
He does a great job with that. He's a great guy on screens, and because he's so elusive and has so much experience. He's played 3 years for us. He has so much experience. He knows kind of the angles the defense is coming from and how his teammates are able to set up blocks for him. So he has an uncanny ability to really find holes and seams in that. And it's been a big weapon for us for sure. And there's lots we can do off it too. So, yeah.
So he has a big game for you. And is it important for him to have that, not just personally, but as you're going into this week's game against London, and you've talked about this all year, when other teams are scouting you and they're looking at the video, you want them to see Trey Saunders. Oh, we got to take him out. Boy, but if we do, we've got Richard Kenny over here. And, oh, by the way, Niall Johnson is going to run the football. And if he doesn't, Deontay Hubbard's there. Dylan Newsome can slide back there. Just the weapons galore.
And Sherrod. I mean, how can we forget about Sherrod, what he's done to people this year? And you still have Anthony Murphy, who's a big, strong weapon. People have paid some attention to him in the middle of the field, but he certainly garners a lot of attention. So yeah, I think you have a lot of really good players that you want to get the ball to, but the big thing is you're going to see how the defense tries to take away those players. How are they scheming for Trey? How are they scheming for Niall? How are they scheming for Richard? Those are all important parts, and how quickly we can kind of counter off those things determine how successful we'll be offensively.
And that's your job as coaches. Your job is to watch what the other team does, try to have those countermeasures in place when you go and you play that game. But it doesn't matter what you do and what your coaches do. Your players have to execute, and they've got to run the plays. They've got to do it the right way, but they also have to read things on their own. And when it comes to that, How smart are your players? Because they look like they're very intelligent. They think the game very well, and they see the things on the field that they need to react to. Of course, a lot of that's because you guys have gone over it day after day after day during practices. But how intelligent is this team when it comes to just reading the plays, reading the situation, and reacting to it?
I think it all goes back to the commitment they have to the game, the commitment they have to one another, how important it is to them. You know, the greatest fear for all of us during the playoffs is that ability to not be with each other and not have our day-to-day interaction. So I think that's a tremendous motivator for really smart, committed players. And that's what we have. We have really smart, caring, and committed players. And it sounds hokey that that's the key, but that's always the key.
Well, that's a great point, Ted, because you've had so much fun as a group. I mean, you started this months ago, and now you're down to when you lose. If you lose, then it is over. So that is a great motivating factor. What's it been like this week? Because we talked about winning the CCL against Waterston, and that was a great feeling. You go into the first round of the playoffs. It's a 5 against a 12. You're expected to win. You've got to execute, but you start executing early in the game. It's really a game that you're in control of the entire time. This week, is it any more? Well, I shouldn't say that it's not business-like for you in practices at all, but this week, this is a matchup where you're really going to have to be at your absolute best to get through it. What's the atmosphere been like at practice this week?
I've tried to pride ourselves on being honest with the players, being honest with everybody, answering whatever questions people ask. Last week after the game, one of the radio shows asked about the game, and I said we were better than them. We were simply better than them, and I think some people take it as arrogance and all that, and it's not any bit whatsoever. I just try to be honest. Well, this week is a whole different story, and I'm going to be honest about that as well. This is a big, strong, physical football team. This is a football team that looks a lot like us. And a really two great football teams are going at it. So there becomes an incredible sense of urgency. We knew a week ago that if we played well, we were gonna be okay. We were better on the field, player wise. But this week, these are monsters versus monsters. This is the irresistible force versus the immovable object type thing, and we have to be at our very best, our most alert, our the greatest sense of urgency. And it's going to be a physical war, a physical battle, and it's going to take. I mean, they're like us. They're going to do the same things over and over and over again and make it a bludgeoning. And we have to respond to that, and we have to do the same. There's no secrets. We've said all week. There's no secret play. There's no secret defense. We've got to play great football to beat this team.
And when you're talking about that, and you talk about the size matchup and the battles, the first thing I think of is your line, offensive line, defensive line. I know you love those guys. I know they are unheralded throughout the course of the year. It's their blocks that are opening the holes for Niall Johnson. It's their pressure on a quarterback that's forcing another team into a mistake. But I know you love these guys along that line. And just the way you described what this week is going to be, how good do you feel about the fact that you're going into the battle with these particular players?
Well, I feel good that we have great linemen. I mean, I absolutely feel good with that. McFeeder's 100%, so we're going to be able to use him everywhere where we normally use him. But obviously, they feel great about their linemen as well. This is not a schematic advantage or a physical advantage for one team or the other. It is good versus good. So I love that we're really good up front. I love that the character and the type of players that we have and the relentless nature we play with. But we know we're playing an opponent with the exact same mentality and the exact same outlook.
So we talked earlier about the defense and winning the turnover battle last week. What does your defense have to do? What do you need to see out of them? Does it have to be pressures? Does it have to be getting into that backfield to make tackles? As you look at the video and you're matching this up and you talk about the evenness, what do you need to get from your defense in this game to win it?
We can't let them control the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's where they're unbelievable, is they're able to control the line of scrimmage and wear people down. And we can't allow them to control the line of scrimmage. I mean, they win the way that teams win in the playoffs. All this newfangled offensive stuff people see on Saturday afternoons, it's all awesome, but a lot of those teams are collecting equipment. At this time of year, it's a physical, downhill, C-gap running game, and who's going to defend those C-gaps and B-gaps are what's going to take to win. Sounds simple, and it's not incredibly, it's not incredibly colorful, but it is what really wins the games.
But the players that you have, and let's go back to the offense here for a second here, you have the potential to have a big play on each and every game. Are they similar in that way? You can give it to Niall, you can get it to Trey, you can get it to Richard, and all of a sudden you can take what maybe was a 3-yard play and Niall turns it into a 23-yard play. You just have that kind of explosiveness. Do they have the same thing?
Well, they're only giving up 10 points a game, or maybe under 10 points a game. So they're so well coached and they take such good angles. They just don't give up many big plays. Giving up a couple on the year, but not many. But offensively, they have the ability, because you have to commit so many people to the run game, that the few times they throw it, those guys are wide open, and those guys are home run hitters in the passing game. So they're very athletic. They're certainly good, as any team that's playing this time of year is. But what they do schematically allows them to be open and take those home runs.
Is that even more of a challenge for your defensive backs and your Aiden Turners and Richard Kennys and Alex Ramacones, that you've got to be ready for that one particular play? You've got to make the right read. You've got to be with your guy when that time comes.
Yeah, discipline is the key. You can imagine we have flipped out a couple times, whether it was needed or not, on the practice field, on staying disciplined and doing your job. Don't try to do someone else's job. Do your job. And those defensive backs have big challenges for sure.
When you say the word stay disciplined, I can't help but think you're dealing with high school athletes here. We're talking 16 to 18 years old. You can preach it. It's hard for them to do. They get antsy. Everybody wants to make the big play. Everybody sometimes thinks, I can do that. Is that one of the bigger challenges, is reining that in and, keeping them within themselves, I guess is a way to say it?
Well, you deal with adults that make millions of dollars. Do they always stay disciplined? So
no, some of them are still 18 years old. Believe me.
So I mean, it just, that's the challenge. We put up every week that it's a challenge of consistency. And that's, if you ever seen the famous Marshawn Lynch video, I'm going to leave the profanity out of it, but over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's the key, I think, to all sports, right? Can you do the right things over and over and over again? Can you stay disciplined? Can you stay consistent? They're going to do good things on their side of the ball, right? So they're going to make you question, am I doing the right thing? Do I need to do more? Do I need to do his job and my job? That's the nature of all sports. And so that's the challenge. That is the ultimate challenge.
And with you and your coaching staff, even though you're making this plan, and if they don't execute it, it looks like you had a bad plan, or even if you give them the wrong play and it's a busted play and they make it look great. It happens both ways. But how fun is this time of the year for you and your coaching family? Because you're all part of one group, players and coaches, but then there's those two different factions. You guys have done this for a long time. You've been through these wars before. How fun is it for you guys at this time of year?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I mean, this is when, the weather's cooler, it's beautiful outside. It feels like football. The sense of urgency, like I said, is off the charts. As a coach, you don't sleep very good. You're thinking about it all the time. It just dominates your life. And, that's the fun part too. I don't know, that's incredibly healthy. People watching this, that's what they want to do, but it is the fun part too. And like you said, tomorrow is promised to no one. When it's over, it's like, boom, like just a door shut and everything you'd planned on and going to work and all that kind of stuff. You're just like, oh, what's going on? So, it's the fun part, but then it's kind of the comedy and the tragedy all wrapped up.
Well, Brad, thank you very much. As you've said throughout this entire thing, it comes down to another old sports adage. Your best players have got to be your best players. And one thing that's been consistent throughout this year is your best players have done that. Here's hoping they do it this week and get a big win against a tough opponent. Nothing but the best to you and your team.
Thanks, Bob.
So the Hawks are in London this week. Kickoff is set for 7 o'clock. You'll be able to see that game on our Bishop Hartley YouTube channel. It's being produced by the Ohio Media School. They have done this throughout the entire season. They've done a great job bringing you all the sights and sounds of games. So again, the Bishop Hartley YouTube channel is where you can watch the game. You can listen to the game by going to GameDayBroadcasting.com. 7 o'clock kickoff on Friday night at London. The Hawks trying to advance in the OHSAA playoffs. That'll do it for this week's edition of Hartley Football Game Day. It's been brought to you by Hutta and Price Orthodontics. I'm Bob McElligott. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Score on Air and the Ohio Media School, Dr. Hutta and Price Orthodontics, the Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation, Brick League Apparel, Ohio Athletic Performance, and Green Lawn RV. See the hawks flying high.
Ohio Athletic Performance, we have truly aligned our passions with our path and our purpose for why we are here. The vision for our company is to be able to influence and impact other people so they have the ability to reach the heights of their genetic potential, whatever that is. We train a wide demographic of individuals, all the way from young athletes to full-grown adults. We choose the things that we program very intentionally. And beyond the physical preparation that we offer people, for us it really is about the development of the holistic person, to be able to identify the things that they need, maybe unbeknownst to themselves, and then being able to bridge the gap for whatever it is that they want in their life, or what they aspire to have, or where they say that they want to go. So for us, we have aligned our passions with our purpose, and we know that we're on the proper path. And now what we're trying to do is facilitate that opportunity for everybody else to do the same.
We take physical preparation incredibly serious here at Ohio Athletic Performance. It's something that we pride ourselves on, whether it be athletes or adult clients. It's something that we want to make sure we're providing to the best of our ability. We want to make sure it's orthopedically safe. If they need rehabilitation, that's something that we can provide for them. And as Coach Trapp said, we're always intentional with everything we do, and we want to take the right steps to give that person exactly what they need.
From the adult perspective, the three things we see: a sense of community, improved health, and a great outlet.
We are intensely passionate about what it is that we do and the service that we offer, and we would love for you to come join our community.
The Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation is a proud partner with the Ohio Media School and Score on Air Network. The foundation has provided food and other essentials to families in Columbus's Northeast Quadrant since 2018. They've also established the Porter Athletic League, which provides a safe environment for youths 8 to 13 to play sports, study, and work with volunteers from the Columbus Police and Franklin County Sheriff's Departments. For more information, visit lanceandeileenporterfoundation.org today.
Can you see yourself working on TV, radio, or social media? As media professionals, we make our voice heard. Call the Ohio Media School and be a part of something bigger than you and me. You'll train and get the skills you need to work in TV, radio, social media, film, and much more.
I graduated and now am working as a director of marketing at a local radio station. My future is set.
Call the Ohio Media School now and be a part of something bigger. 614-723-9675. 614-723-9675.
Hi, this is Bob McElligott for Hutta and Price Orthodontics. Have you ever looked forward to going to any type of a doctor? Well, neither have I, but let me tell you, I do look forward to seeing Doctors Hutta and Price when I go to their practice. You know why? Well, it's as Dr. Hutta says. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And at Hutta and Price Orthodontics, you will know that they care from the very first visit. To find out the services that they provide or to set up a consultation, just go to their website at lovethatsmile.net. If you've ever dreamed of a career in the sports production industry, your dream could come true. The Ohio Media School is enrolling their next sports emphasis class soon. You'll learn about all the different aspects of what goes into the broadcast that you watch or listen to. Go from behind the scenes to the front of the camera. You'll also get hands-on opportunities to practice your skills through the Score on Air network. Call the Ohio Media School at 614-655-5250 or visit beonair.com/Columbus.
There's a pitch to Richard Kidd, and he is flying down the field, and he's not going to be caught until he crosses the end zone. Melvin hands it off to LeBeau, and he goes right into the middle of that Hartley defense and pretty much goes nowhere. Niall Johnson, and he is off and running. Another one-play possession for the Hawks. And the handoff goes to LeBeau, and he is stood up at the line of scrimmage, and he is short of the line. What a great job by that Hartley defensive front. Here's the snap and the pitch back to Deontay Hubbard. He's pushing forward, pushing, and he is in for the touchdown. First and goal at the 7-yard line. Here's the handoff, and that is going to be another touchdown for Niall Johnson, his third of the game. What a ball game for the Bishop Hartley Hawks. They are going to win 56-14. Credit to Miami Trace. They fought, but just ran up against a tougher opponent.
Good evening and welcome to London High School. Tonight, the Bishop Hartley Hawks look to advance in the OHSAA state playoffs as they take on the Red Raiders of London. Bob McElligott along with Randall Sampson here tonight, and also Will Ward is joining us on the sidelines. We'll hear from him in just a little bit. But Randall, here we are, moving on after the big win last week against Miami Trace over at Jack Ryan Field on the campus of Bishop Hartley. Win and move on. This should be a great one. Number 5 Hartley, number 4 London here tonight, both with identical 9-2 records.
Yeah, and you win, you move on, and you win, it gets a little cooler. You win, the stakes get a little higher. You win, you get closer to the trophy. You win, you get closer to glory. So the key to that is just win, baby.
Yeah, just win is absolutely right. And this is a game that I'm really excited to watch here because when you look at these two teams, they're pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's going to be. It's not going to be a schematic matchup. It's not going to be a how can we outperform the other team. It's going to be mano and mano, down to the very last second, who's going to beat who. It's going to be one half step too slow, one half step too fast kind of game, and it's going to come down to those small little inches that we all talk about.
All right, let's take a look at the key players tonight, the players that we are going to focus on and we're going to watch. We start with Bishop Hartley, and Trayvon Saunders is who we're going to talk about. You got to talk about this guy, Randall. He does it all.
He does it all. He's a potential Division III Player of the Year, high school all-state track runner, second in the state in track. His football skills transfer. So usually, those track guys, the skills don't transfer as often, but his skills transfer definitely to the field.
There you see the Hawks coming out on the field right now. Trayvon Saunders, of course, part of the group down there. And let's take a look at London. And the player that we're going to watch for London here tonight is Antoine Burns, another senior here and a guy that is going to provide a lot of the offense for them.
Yeah, so Hartley had a good look last week at a real quality running back. And this kid matches that. He has speed, he has strength, and he can explode at any time. So you're really going to have to corral him and cage him up. But for London, what they have to do is find some lanes for him and let him wiggle through and burst.
Well, let's take a look at the bracket right now and see where these teams, how they've gotten here and where they're going as we look at the regional bracket. And this is just the top half of the bracket right here because you see who the winner of this game is going to play. You've got St. Francis de Sales taking on Granville, and the winner of that game is going to face the winner of this game.
Yeah, so those are great potential candidates to battle against next week. But the battle right now is between the lines for these next few minutes, and you have to take care of business here on the field, and that's on both sides for both teams.
Well, I told you we have a third member of our broadcast crew tonight, and that is Will Ward, who is working the sidelines. So let's hear from Will. Will?
Hey, guys. As you guys already alluded to, the battle is going to be won between the lines today. I got a chance to talk to Coach Birchfield before the game, and he just simply mentioned that they couldn't let them get any stops. They had to get their stops on the first down. And they had to win the possession battles up front.
Well, we're having some technical difficulties in getting Will from the sidelines right there. But there he was talking about talking to the coaches and getting their perspectives on what they're doing here tonight as we get ready for the opening kickoff. Bishop Hartley going to receive the opening kick. And, of course, it's Trey Saunders along with Richard Kenny. And they go with a little chip shot. That is scooped up at the 12-yard line. Up over the 15. There's a fumble right away at the 25-yard line. There's also a flag on the field. Hartley says that they have the football.
Yeah, and it looks like a little bit of pregame jitters. So you don't expect that out of your veteran, your senior, that's your leader out there. And it just looks like he got tripped up by the turf and then lost control of the ball on the cut.
And that's exactly what happened. Good job to get that back right away by the Hawks. And here they come, ready to go on offense for the first time tonight. Peyton Underwood, the junior quarterback. He's got a man on each side of him. Then he's got, well, they're going to break Sherrod Bowens out of that backfield right now. Niall Johnson, the tailback, they're going to hand it to him and let him try to get to the outside. And he does make the cut, and there's a flag in the area of where it might be a hold against the Hawks. We'll wait for the indication here.
Yeah, and on those stretch plays, usually you see those offensive linemen, they can only go so far, so fast sideways. And so usually that's where they get you, is on the hold on the outside.
So it is a hold against the Hawks, and they will be backed up 10 yards. Well, not the way you want to start, right? I mean, you get the fumble on the kickoff. You recover that. Now a holding call on the very first play from scrimmage.
So you want to get this all out of your system. So last week, first play from scrimmage, touchdown. Second play from scrimmage, touchdown. So the first two plays here aren't very good.
So it is a first down and 20. Doesn't necessarily change the play call, but here's a little toss to Saunders. And Trey breaks the first tackle. Now here he goes up the near sideline, the 40, 45 across midfield. He's got to turn on the Jets, and Trey Saunders goes the distance. That's a touchdown, but there's a flag way back at the 20-yard line. And you see the Hartley players are still standing there with not much celebration.
Well, it looks like it's going to be against...
Yep, it is going to be against London. Chris Baker, the referee, signals that it is a face mask against the defense, and that is going to count for a touchdown. You talked about Trey Saunders being that track guy. Sometimes it doesn't translate. Translates right here. Watch this. Break a tackle, and now it's just about speed.
And he gets that face mask, and this is what's really impressive. Once you're looking downfield, he is breaking the angle of number 12, I believe. So once you bust somebody's angle, there is the total life is sucked out of that defense.
Richard Dodson is the man, the defensive back, that he was able to get by and finish that off. Alex Gabriel will now attempt the extra point. And this kick is up, and the Hartley Hawks extend it, get the extra point. It's 7-0 here in the first quarter. Wasn't that funny? I was talking about this is not a good start to the game, and you said last week first play was a touchdown. It took to play, well, really, if you count the fumble on the kickoff, play three.
Play three total. three times touching the ball.
There you go.
And what I really liked about that is he kept his composure even through the face mask, as we watch it right here. So just a clear, good fake. Gets out here in the flat, just makes one move, gets face masked. But this is where he maintains his composure. He adjusts his face mask so he can see the goal line, and then he takes off. And then busting that angle, number 14 can't catch him on the angle. And number 12, the angle was busted. And everybody takes an angle as a defensive back. And to bust an angle like that, that's a lot of speed, a lot of ground being made up. So this is why this kid is a big-time player, because he shows up in big-time games. So speed, speed, speed all day long. Get those receivers out in space. That'll open up that running game, and it creates that punching bag effect for the offensive lineman. And that's when the offensive lineman can really just tee off.
And when you talk about the offensive lineman teeing off, that's what this team loves to do. They love to use those guys on the line. When I talked to Brad Birchfield this week about this game, I said, you know, your linemen, and a lot of them play both ways, offensive line, defensive line, they're unheralded guys. But, Randall, if they don't do the job that they do, you don't run the football like the Hawks do. You don't catch like a short pass like that and take it all the way to the house for a touchdown, as Gabriel puts this one through the end zone.
I think he put that one to the goalpost.
Yeah, well, they assessed the penalty on the kickoff, so that made it really easy for him.
Absolutely, and that's an opportunity for the young man to show off his leg, and that also gives a good warm-up opportunity for him for a long field goal if needed in this cold weather.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because when you're talking about the playoffs, you know, the kicking games, the special team games are so much more important than they are even during the regular season. So having a good kicker is key at this time of the year.
Yeah, for a kicker just to put his foot on the ball in that cold ball, just to get a feel for it, that's critical.
So now it's London, down 7-0 as they get the ball for the very first time. And they turn and run this ball around the right side, and they're going to get up over the 30-yard line. Pretty good run right there, and the very first touch by Aiden Cooper. He is a senior running back, 6 foot, 182 pounds, And he used that frame to barrel forward for 12 and pick up a first down.
And that's what happens when you have a really good running back there. You can create a lot of window dressing, give other guys the opportunity to carry the ball because you have to focus on that one running back that can fly.
Dylan Combs, the senior quarterback, running this offense from under center. Takes the ball, they hand it off on a little counter play, and this is going to be for just a couple of yards.
Yeah, that's a good play for London. So now they're ahead of the stakes. You pick up 5 yards on that, and now your whole playbook on offense is open on a 2nd and 6. So you pick up 4.
Isaiah Jones, the ball carrier there, actually ran into the quarterback Combs briefly at the start of that play.
Yeah, it creates a little misdirection for the defense, too, because it freezes the defense. You think it's an opportunity for the defense, but it freezes them because it's a busted play, so you don't know what's going on.
So 2nd down and 6. Going to hand it off to the tailback, and being hit immediately after receiving the football, Antoine Burns. Boy, the Hawks were keying on him, and they're right there to get him after a 1-yard gain.
And that's the kind of football that Hartley likes, where you pack the inside, and everybody's in, everybody's compact, and now it's man-on-man, and Hartley believes that they can take any person man-on-man in the state pound for pound.
First test here for the Red Raiders as it is 3rd down and 5. 2 receivers out to the right, near side of the field. They bring another man in motion. They give it to him on the jet sweep, and a great job by Anthony Murphy to wrap up that ball carrier, and they bring him down after leaning forward for 2 yards as Aiden Cooper.
So they ran that jet sweep at Anthony Murphy again. The first time they ran it at him, they got about 9 yards on it because he was indecisive. He couldn't make the read. On this one, he just attacked the ball carrier, got rid of that blocker. So that's a great job by the young man playing outside linebacker.
Hawks get a little bit bigger as they bring Dylan Newsome and Deontay Hubbard onto the field. They take the 2 cornerbacks off, looking for the run here, and there is a whistle. And offsides against the defense. So the Hawks jump early, and they give up the first down.
And that's unlike the Hartley defense to be so undisciplined. They're usually disciplined with jumping off sides, but I think their hard count got them this time.
Yeah, and it's Daniel Tucson, of all people, and he was trying to lobby that the offensive lineman moved. He did not win that battle.
That's what good defensive linemen do, right? They always point at the offensive line. He twitched. I saw his pinky toe.
Here is a handoff, and trying to get around the left side, Isaiah Jones, and Jones gets a gain of 1. Just a good job by the Hartley defense. Again, there was penetration into the backfield there, and that's what slowed that down.
Well, the key is that penetration, just to kind of bubble it out and let the running back keep going sideways, and then you wait for the cavalry to come and clean it up. And Hartley did a good job maintaining the edge. Don't provide a cutback lane.
And this is what they want. That last drive, they get they wind up with a 3rd and about 4, and then it left at 4 and 2. They want to keep this. They want to keep these runs as short as they possibly can. Put themselves into. They want to get them into a 3rd and long situations if they can. Here's a handoff, and coming up the right side and finding a little crack there is Cooper to come forward.
And I liked what the Hartley defense did that time. Watch this. This is the key right here. So you have a running back that likes to run downhill, and he takes a stutter step in the hole, and it slows his momentum. That allows 3 steps for the defense to catch up with him and stop him. He could have had a first down, but that stutter step just does it for you every time.
Yeah, that was Antoine Burns, actually. They carried the football there, and here is the 3rd down and 5 situation. And here's a snap, and a little option play, and good job by the Hawks in pursuit as Burns takes it. He had absolutely nowhere to go, and it was the Hawks linebacker Deshaun Tucker that makes the tackle.
Yeah, and I saw a little bit of movement on number 16. He went too early. The official didn't call it, but the defense maintained the integrity. Nobody moved on the front line. They watched the ball. The linebackers came downhill. Daniel did a good job turning everything back inside for the monster to come eat up.
So it's going to be a punting situation now. And this ball is kicked toward the near sideline. It gets a London roll down inside the 10, and that ball is going to be downed at the 5-yard line. So that's a heck of a punt. That came off the foot of Isaiah Jones. You never know which way the football is going to bounce. If that ball lands and it kicks hard to the right, then it's great field position for the Hawks. As it stands, they've got to go 95 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, usually in this kind of weather when it's a little bit cold, that ball gets real heavy. So when it hits, it just starts rolling automatically. So you're not going to get a lot of bounce out of it. But I think, from the receiving side, the receiver's always thinking that thing's going to bounce out of bounds. I'm good. Now you're inside the 5. So 95 yards to go.
95 yards to go as there are two wideouts split to the right side. Underwood's in the shotgun. He's got Niall Johnson in the backfield alongside of him. They put Trey Saunders in motion. Underwood fakes the handoff. He throws it. And London had that one read as Saunders gets back to the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Yeah, and basically that's just your little safe bubble screen. You got your guy out there that can catch the ball. You can count on him. And it becomes almost just like a stretch running play. And so, but it sets up to take the top off the defense for later on as well.
2nd down and 10.
Now remember, against the Sales, we did that, and it was a forward pass, and they called it a backwards pass, and they scored a touchdown.
That's right.
We have to really be careful.
Underwood standing on his goal line as he gets ready to take the snap. And they give it to Niall Johnson. And again, not much there as he gets maybe a 1-yard gain. They'll give him one. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
And this is where the battle is. It's up in the middle. It's the trenches. Those 5 guys up front. Who's gonna go? And number 53 for London just seems to beat his block. Came inside and make a great tackle.
Antonio Burns is the man that made that tackle. 3rd down and 9. Going to hand it off, and the Hawks will take what they can get as they're out near the 10-yard line. Looks like they're going to put it at the 9. That'll at least give them a little bit of breathing room as Peyton Underwood is going to kick this ball away.
And for some of the folks out there who aren't familiar with Ohio high school playoff football, this is going to be a field position ball control chess match. So every little inch is going to count in this field position ball control game. So with this punt, if London does not return it, they picked up 20 yards from where they left off from the last possession.
4th down and 6. And Underwood with pressure gets it away. And the Hawks are going to get the roll. Oh, what a roll they get. Down inside the 45, all the way to the 43-yard line. Peyton Underwood, great job just to get that kick away, Randall.
And that's the field position ball control that we're talking about, getting that ball away and getting that heavy roll. We call that the heavy roll because there's not a lot of bounce in it with this cold air. So it just rolls like a rock downhill. And he picked up another 20 yards. So that's that field position ball control that we're going to have to watch tonight.
Yeah, as you said, they would pick up 20 yards in the field position battle. No, they're actually right back to where they were. So,
now they're back to where they are. Yep.
So perfect. Good punt. And again, a good punt under pressure by Underwood. 7-0, the Hawks have the lead. 1st down and 10 for the Red Raiders of London. And they hand it off. They've got room on the right side. Anthony Murphy ties his man up, and Alex Ramacone comes over to help finish off that tackle. That's a good run by Aiden Cooper as he picks up, actually, he only picks up 4 yards, but when he first came around there, it looked like that was going to be a big gain.
Yeah, to be that out-schemed and that out-leveraged, it really looked like it was going to be about a 20-yard run, but you had Anthony Murphy come up from the split side. They really bumped him out. They want him to be out in space a little bit more, not to jam it all up. So, once again, he lines up out in space.
Bring Cooper in motion again. Give it to Burns right up the middle, and Burns behind a blocker is going to sneak through for the 1st down as he's all the way to the 42-yard line of the Hawks.
And you got a little guy like that, just hides behind those big offensive linemen and just keeps the legs churning, and the defense can't see him because he's just a little dude back there just hiding, and grinding the legs, keep it churning.
1st down at 10. Dylan Combs off the sideline with the play. Combs, the quarterback, managing this offense. And it's a complex offense. They've got a lot of guys in motion. You got to hand it to the right guy. You have to make the right call. And this call is going to get up to about the 40-yard line. Antoine Burns once again. And Anthony Murphy, and they're on the tackle.
And this is a meat grinder kind of game. There's not going to be too many fancy things happening. It's going to be those 5 guys in the middle. And we're going to see, is your 5 better than my 5? And let's go.
Battle of the lines in this one. If the lines don't do the job, the running backs find no room. And there is a whistle. And it's going to be another penalty for offsides against the Hawks.
And this is what we talked about last week. You inch closer and closer to that line of scrimmage as the defensive lineman. As you feel that momentum pushing, the offensive line is pushing you, you want to line up as close as you can to that line, but you can't line up offsides.
So that'll make it 2nd down and 2. Combs hands it off and trying to push forward and spinning to get the first down. London gets it, Noah Solers, the ball carrier that time.
Yeah, and there's no big secret to this stuff. It's grinding out. Running back keeps his legs churning. Defense is fighting and clawing to get through.
First down and 10. London just methodically running the football down the field, as Randall just said, grinding. That's exactly what they're doing, grinding away to get every yard that they can. Hand it off, and not much there. There is a flag on the play. And it's a false start against the offense, so that'll back them up 5 yards.
So the key to this is you got an offense that's going to grind it there. They're compacting everything in. But every now and then you got to be careful as that safety. They'll sneak that wing back out, and they'll run him vertical, attacking that safety once that safety commits to the run. So that's something you have to really keep your eye on as a defensive back.
Hand it off, and a nice little cut there made by Antoine Burns. And he gets himself to the 30-yard line, which is still shy of the original line of scrimmage.
And as a defense, that's what you want to see. I call that the windmill. So when your running back is running in the line of scrimmage and their arm is flailing and they're trying to get their momentum to come back, that's exactly what you want. So it's an indecisive cut, and it gives the defense time to make that tackle.
Second down and 11. What you want to do right here, if you're Hartley, no big plays, right? You want to keep this third and long. You want to make it third and long.
And now they have everything spread out.
Yeah, now they spread it out. They spread it out with a 5-receiver set. And they look to throw on the left side. That ball is up in the air, and it is incomplete. Anthony Murphy in coverage on the intended receiver, Elijah Mitchell.
And they try to run a corner route on that and just take the top off the defense. Anthony had good position, needs to be a little bit tighter in that hip, but the quarterback had to drop it down in the chimney and be perfect with that.
So it is third down and 11. We talk about trying to drop it in there. Anthony Murphy, too, at 6'3". It's a big guy. You got to drop it right over.
It's a big guy and a big paw when he puts it up, so you got to get it just right.
Here they go again. Empty set. And they look over the middle, and that ball is incomplete. It was almost picked off by the Hawks. Dylan Newsom had it hit the hands and couldn't put it away.
Yeah, so that Anthony Murphy out there running out late, and that slot runs a post move right there. The quarterback does not see the linebacker underneath, and he almost had him. And the linebacker did a great job. Newsom did a great job just reading the quarterback's eyes the whole time, and he wanted to go right into that little gap and just missed him.
Fourth down and 11, no kicker to be found. It is, again, a 5-receiver set. Right now, London hoping that the third time is a charm. Coombs takes time. He has plenty of time, and he throws to the near sideline. That's incomplete. Alex Ramicone was there on the coverage. The intended receiver, again, was Elijah Mitchell.
And I'll tell you what, these guys from Hartley, they're well coached, great position, a great technique where he put his left hand on the hip, right hand came over the top to get in the face of the receiver and distract him and knock the ball away.
So great job by the Hawks just as London was moving the ball down the field. And what do you think about this? They're running the ball. They're getting the first downs. All of a sudden they go to the pass, and they come up empty 3 times.
We call that trying to get cute.
Well put.
Do what you're good at and keep doing it. Let them stop you.
So now the Hawks, who on their last drive, they started at the 5-yard line. So much better here as they're at the 30-yard line. Hand it off to Richard Kenny. Kenny trying to get to the outside and turn that corner, and he does. And he's going to get some yards. He gets about 5 on that play.
Yep. And this is the field position ball control. If you go back a couple series, Hartley started at the 5, punted the ball all the way back down. They didn't make a lot of yardage, punted it all the way to the 40 on the other side, and now they have the ball on the 35. So they made up 30 yards on the field position flip.
So Kenny comes out wide to the left here. Niall Johnson, the sidecar, with Underwood in the shotgun. Now they'll bring Trey Saunders back there to flank Underwood as well. Hand it off to Trey Saunders. Great quick cut. And he is up to the 39-yard line. Well, that's what you've been talking about. There were no secrets right there.
No. And
Give it to your best player, let him run, right?
Give it to your best player, put it in his hands. You got a bunch of big offensive guys right there. 51 just killed his guy on the good trap, and the offensive line is grinding. So here you're 3rd and 1. What are you going to do? Run the ball.
And that 51, Andrew McFeeters, a couple weeks ago, he was banged up with an ankle sprain. Got back in there last week for the playoff game, and, boy, good to have him at full strength.
And that's the leadership you need right there. That shows.
3rd down and 1. Underwood hands this one off, and Niall Johnson tries to come straight ahead, and they were ready for him. They shut him down. It's a loss of a yard.
Yeah, and this is the quintessential play right here. My man versus your man. Let's see who's going to win. 77 gets a lot of penetration, makes the running back step to the side a little bit, and so now you're not going downhill.
Alante Houston, the junior, is the guy that made that play. So this is a big play for the Hawks right here. When you're talking about field position and change of possession on this, you want to get this first down, but we're going to wait until the second quarter before they attempt it. Time runs out in the first quarter here at London High School. The Hartley Hawks got a touchdown on their very first possession, and they lead the Red Raiders by the score of 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. This is Bishop Hartley playoff football, OHSAA playoff football, as a matter of fact. And we'll be back with the second quarter right after this.
Tonight's game is being brought to you by Score on Air and the Ohio Media School, Dr. Hutta and Price Orthodontics, the Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation, Brick League Apparel, Ohio Athletic Performance, and Green Lawn RV. If you've ever dreamed of a career in the sports production industry, your dream could come true. The Ohio Media School is enrolling their next sports emphasis class soon. You'll learn about all the different aspects of what goes into the broadcast that you watch or listen to. Go from behind the scenes to the front of the camera. You'll also get hands-on opportunities to practice your skills through the Score on Air network. Call the Ohio Media School at 614-655-5250 or visit beonair.com/Columbus. If you've ever considered a career in broadcasting, it's time for you to check out the Ohio Media School, located in Columbus. If you're interested in radio and TV production or digital media marketing, the Ohio Media School is the choice for you. Visit beonair.com/Columbus or follow them on all social media platforms. Ohio Media School, we change lives.
Second quarter ready to begin, and the Hartley Hawks are going for it on fourth down, and here's Trey Saunders up the field. He gets knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. He's got that first down. He needed 2. He got much, much more. So, Randall, we were talking during the break there, how do you handle this? Do you just punt the ball, go for the field position? They said, no, we're going to get that first down.
Coach Birchfield likes to go for stuff. Me, I'm a little bit more conservative in the game. I want the field position, ball control, come from that Dick Geyer mold. But Coach knows better than the rest of us up here as the pundits.
Then again, you got to know your players, right?
That's right.
Well,
Coach Cooper always said it's fun to gamble with somebody else's chips.
Right. First down and 10 from the 39-yard line of the Red Raiders. Peyton Underwood. Niall Johnson behind him. They bring Saunders in motion. They're going to hand it off to Johnson. Up the middle he goes. He'll get a couple.
And this is what Hartley needs right here. They need to get that running game going, get Johnson in the game, get him some touches, get him moving. But the problem that Hartley provides for this defense is, look at all of that. You got Johnson getting the ball. You got Trey going across on the sweep. You've got a great tight end flanker out there. Well, who do you guard? So you have to create these mismatches because everybody's matched up evenly.
Niall Johnson coming off a 130-yard performance last week in the win over Miami Trace. They fake the handoff to him. Underwood rolls, and he gives it to Saunders. Breaks a tackle, and he's going to get inside the 30-yard line before he steps out of bounds. And he's going to be close to the first down. Depending upon where they mark it, he's got the first down.
And that's what you call pure strength. He seems to motor through the first hit every time. First touch, he keeps motoring through, and the legs keep going. He lowers his level almost like a Porsche or a Jaguar, and then he excels.
They get that first down. That's key. If you go back to the touchdown in the first quarter, he breaks the tackle. That's how he gets all the way down the field.
Well, he breaks the face mask tackle.
Yeah, that's right.
He's running and adjusting his face mask at the same time.
Well, we had to make sure he could see all the way to the end zone.
That's right.
Going to send Deontay Hubbard in motion, fake a handoff, they throw, and they're going toward the end zone, and that is an incomplete pass. Richard Kenny was knocked down on the way, but they're ruling that was an uncatchable ball.
And that's not a bad play. I really like that play. You're pressing those safeties back now because they keep coming up on the flares. So you're pressing them back, taking the top off, making them respect the speed out there. And so that keeps that back end back for you a little bit while you loosen up that middle with the gut punches.
And sometimes you just have to run those plays to show them that we can run that play if we want to, right?
Absolutely. And the quarterback put it in the right position at the back of the end zone where nobody can catch it except for his man.
Well, the Hawks get a couple of guys on the field late and still have plenty of time to get this snap away. And they hand it off. Little counter play this time. And, Niall Johnson takes a huge hit. That's just a great tackle by Zach Jones.
And that's an amazing tackle with the linebacker stepping through. But this is, man-on-man game. You have to make the first man miss. Linebacker comes through, hits his guy, but you have to make the first man miss.
So even with all that motion, Jones knew exactly who they were giving the football to.
Absolutely. He was reading his keys and staying true to his keys. That's a good football player right there.
So it is 3rd down and 9. It's a big play. You don't have to get a first down here, but you've got to get close to the first down here.
I say you get about 8, you get in the range of your field goal kicker.
Underwood rolling right, throwing, and what a catch by Saunders. And he makes that catch at about the 26-yard line.
And so now we're talking 38-yard field goal.
Where are they going to place this thing?
Right
yeah, they placed it at the 21. 31, 38. 38 yards.
All right.
And they're going to attempt it. Alex Gabriel will attempt it. Will Heskett is the holder. Heskett counting. He makes sure that they have the right number of players standing on the field.
The 21-yard line. The 3 points were actually caused by a 15-yard penalty on the face mask when Hartley had to kick off from the 45, and he's kicking off and he kicks it through the upright. That was a great warm-up for him. That was him putting his foot on the ball, feeling that cold ball, how to control it, and now he comes up. So that was basically a free kick. He comes up, nails this last one right through the goalpost, and he has a good feel for the ball.
That's a great point. That is a really good point. And he's a great kicker. They've talked about him all year. How much they like what he can do. They love when he kicks the ball through the end zone. They love putting the other team on the 20-yard line. And here's this kick is going to be short of the goal line. It's taken at the 3, up over the 10, the 15, the 20, and all the way out to the 32-yard line. And that's a good return by Aiden Cooper.
Yep. And it's all these incremental little things that counts throughout the game that if you're the general fan at home just watching it, you're not counting all this stuff. So now you have a face mask that led to a 15-yard penalty, and you also gave up 7 on that face mask, which caused 3. So now you gave up 10 points off of 1 penalty and 1 mistake.
1st down and 10. And let's see what London's going to do. They set up in a shotgun formation. Bring a man in motion. They're going to hand it off on a counter play. And the Hawks right there. It's a very short gain for Antoine Burns.
There's a lot of physical tackling happening down in the middle. I love the way the linebackers are scraping down. Defensive linemen are holding on to the guys. Linebackers are shuffling, coming downhill, and cleaning up.
And as you said, cleaning up, there were 3 guys there on that tackle. Gain of 2, 2nd down and 8. Once again, they put Combs in the shotgun. They hand it off, and there is nothing doing this time either. Anthony Murphy right there to meet Elijah Mitchell.
And I was going to say, these guys are very disciplined up front, but they're doing what we call the McRib sandwich. So watch this. Here's the running back coming. Lineman holds him up. Anthony Murphy gets a good shot of the ribs right there. You see how open those ribs? That's what we call the McRib sandwich. So the defensive lineman would always hold him up for the linebackers to come clean it up. And you could hear, when I played, you could hear the linebacker screaming, hold him up, I'm coming.
3rd down and 7. And the Hawks have to get guys off the field, and they were scrambling, and London takes full advantage, and they run it for the 1st down. Well, Hartley was not set. They had guys coming on the field, going off the field, and look, it is wide open. Nobody's in position when the ball is snapped. and that just opens it all up here.
Yeah, you had 2 defensive linemen down in position when the ball was snapped. That's a dream come true for, for that 5 up front.
So it is a first down and 10. They hand it off, and Burns is going to power forward and get to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, there still seems to be a lot of confusion up front for Hartley's defense. They were able to shore it up a little bit. I think they were playing a little minus a player there. But we got to figure this out. And you also had 2 wide receivers running straight down the field unchecked.
Yeah, there were, you're right. I think there was one guy missing on that last play, but London didn't take full advantage. They did get 3 yards, second down and 7. Fake a handoff, and a good job of pressure by McFeeters. And coming to the near sideline and then running out of bounds after a gain of about 3 is the quarterback, Dylan Combs.
Yeah, and as a defensive lineman, you're running in there to get that sack, and that quarterback just sidesteps. But the most difficult thing is for that quarterback, he's scrambling left, throwing right. That is so difficult to throw across your body.
Good job by Rory Ralston to drive him out of bounds there. Third down and 3. And what probably is 2-down territory, to be honest with you. Combs goes up under center. Going to hand it off, try to run it around the near side, and they do. They've got the first down. Alex Ramacone makes the tackle at the 36-yard line.
Yeah, defensive end got out leveraged here. And you can see the outside, the linebackers are trying to fight through, but you got out leveraged and hit on that outside shoulder.
So it is first down and 10. They placed it at the 38. Well, London back to the running game here. Their last possession, they went to the air 3 times and didn't complete any of the passes. Back to what they're doing best. And here is the quarterback, not just lunging forward, driving forward, Dylan Combs. That's a big run right there.
Yeah, that's what we call the wedge block. So when the center sees that, he yells out wedge, 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 and everybody piles down on the inside, protects the quarterback. Everybody shoots inside and create this big wedge where you can pick up 6, 7, 8 yards if the defense has that gap.
And that's what he did. He picked up 6. Second down and 4. Combs puts a man in motion, hands it off, and Burns again inside the 30. It's close to that first down.
You know, everybody likes to go to the tailgates. They like to have a little bratwurst, maybe a little hot dog, and all that kind of stuff, but nobody ever watches how the meat is made. This is a grinder. This is the sausage making that you never see. This is what you call football. This is the grind out, big guys against big guys on the inside, and let's see who wins.
They get it to the 28, so that's good for the first down. Now they're going to spread it out a little bit. Spread it out for this offense anyway. They have 2 receivers out to the right. And Combs trying to come to the left. That fooled nobody. It especially didn't fool Andrew McFeeters, who stayed right with that quarterback, and he makes the tackle.
And this time Andrew says, I'm not going to get out leveraged. He reads his keys, fights to that outside, and really pushes down. And let's go with that guy and makes that tackle.
It's a great play for a loss of 1. Second down 11.
I'm really impressed by Andrew's feet and his motor that he has out there. He's a great guy for that outside, and I'm glad that he's healthy.
See what they try here on second and 11. Combs rolling, looking for running room. He gets caught. Sherrod Bowens. That's a great job of pursuit and a tackle.
Yeah, and Bowens has that speed on the outside, and people forget he's a running back. He can take. We saw him take it 80 yards. So he has a great burst, great speed, reads it well, keeps his leverage, keeps that outside arm free, and just rides down the ball carrier.
Well, and that was no gain on that play, so it is third down and 11 right now.
And it looks like they're bringing in some receivers. I don't know if they're going to pack them in or spread them out.
Well, it'll be interesting to see here because they spread them out on the last series. They got nothing out of it. They pack them in.
And they got trips. You got trips to the left down here.
Here's a throw, and that is picked off by Trey Saunders. He took it at the 24-yard line. He gets back up to the 28 as the Hawks, with the interception, take over.
Yeah, Trey Saunders does a great job just reading the eyes of the quarterback. A little bit of pressure right there by Andrew stepping up, and then he just steps in front of the ball and makes it happen.
It's a great job by Trey Saunders. Talked about him before. It's your best player, and in the big games, your best players have to be your best players.
Yeah, every time he touches the ball, something magical happens.
So the Hawks with a 10-0 lead and 3:49 left in the opening half. Get the football back.
I'll tell you, Hartley got lucky on that play. There was disarray again on defense. They have to line up and be able to play.
Underwood, little throw to the near side. Here's Richard Kenny, and he gets hit and taken down at the 33-yard line. Well, they like to do that with him. They like to have him curl back, take that pass there, and he usually has some blockers out in front of him. Didn't have any that time.
Yeah, we'll call that the flanker screen, but we, with him, we'll call it the jackrabbit. We get him the ball, and he gets a little space, and he's out.
They give him 6, second down and 4. Hand it off. No, they didn't hand it off, and Underwood is going to be caught and dropped. And they'll place it at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, so for Hartley, even on defense, the inconsistency continues to carry here on offense. There's miscommunication with the ball carrier and the quarterback. Defense is not lining up right. They don't have enough people on the field. So something's happened down on the sideline during the second quarter where they have lost their mental edge. They have to gain it back mentally to stay focused on what they're doing.
Yeah, the good news is there's only 2:39 remaining in this first half. So Brad Birchfield actually is going to sit and he's going to take this time out. He's going to run time off the clock right now and get it down to where the play clock is about to expire and then call the timeout.
And that's what you get out of a Brad Birchfield. That's a veteran move right there where he realizes mentally his team is slipping. So he'll get some time off the clock, call a timeout, get recomposure to get this mental edge. And if they can pick up a first down here on third down, now you have a chance to really push the ball down, get another score, or at least flip the field.
So it is third down and 10 when they come back to play here. Niall Johnson's the one guy that has been completely taken out of this game. And I was thinking that before. It looked like Peyton was going to hand the ball off to him, and they collided with one another. I mean, again, there's so many key weapons, but Niall has been one of the biggest guys all year long. He has been neutralized thus far.
Absolutely. So even if he handed the ball off to him, if you read the keys out there, even if he handed the ball off to him, they were already outflanked. And that might have been a good thing for them to have a busted play. That way they can get recomposure and get going. But I think Hartley has enough weapons where they can move Niall around and replace him with some others, and it really just throws the defense out of sync because now you can't focus on him as that centerpiece anymore.
So the Hawks get ready for a third down and 10. Richard Kenny is way up the top of the screen, and they tried the little inside pitch, and that did not fool the defender, Isaiah Jones, right there to make the tackle.
Yeah, and that's one of those where Hartley said, we're going to give it to our guy that we know we can get the ball in his hands, and good, bad, or indifferent, let's see what he can do. And he just, the guy shot underneath the block and went through it.
So another timeout on the field with 2:12 remaining here. And the Hawks are going to have to punt it away. Lost another 3 yards on that play. Actually, they let 3 seconds run off that. They'll reset the clock to 2:15. But Hartley with a 10-0 lead here. And now this is very important, though, Randall, because, for London, it's been a running game. If you can get a good punt away and get the field position where you want them to be, then you could just go out and play defense and run the timeout in the half.
Well, the key to this is this punt right here. Everybody talks about every play counts, especially the punt. Punt is the biggest play of the game, and we have to make sure that you secure the ball in the punt and then get rid of the punt because they almost blocked one down here at the end. But once you get rid of it, hopefully you get a great bounce out of it if they don't catch it and flip the field.
And I'll tell you that Zach Jones isn't very deep, and it won't matter. This is a bad kick, terrible kick. And this ball is going to be placed, it's going to be out at about the 30-yard line. That's exactly where they're going to put it, at the 30.
Yep, and so this is the mental game that we were talking about, the mental edge. So you guys can see it just as well as we can see it up in the booth. There's disarray, things are falling apart mentally for the Hawks. So you get a little bit of pressure, and he doesn't follow through on his kick. He shorts it, and it comes off the side, and he basically just flops it out of bounds for about 5 yards.
Well, this is a key point of the game right here, because if London gets a score, they get the ball to start the second half, and there's a big run for first down, as it looked like Antoine Burns was going to be stopped after about a yard, and he winds up with about 12.
And they've had him bottled up all game long, and this is just the defensive technique on that defensive end. He's taking on the guy with the outside shoulder instead of inside shoulder. So it's all of these little things.
First down at 10, inside of 20 at the 18-yard line. And a quarterback trying to just push forward again. And they have more success with that play, using that wedge play to get down to the 12.
They could probably run that thing 3 times and still get the same amount of yards, because it's just a whole bunch of mesh of bodies in there. That's about 5,000 pounds worth of human beings just flopping around on the inside there.
So from the 12-yard line, with that clock still turning, London has 2 timeouts at their disposal. They want to try to score as the half runs out. And they hand it off. A couple of yards here, just inside the 10 to the 9-yard line.
And that's a good job, keeping his leverage there for Anthony Murphy, keeping his leverage on the outside and making the guy turn back inside and make the tackle.
Aiden Cooper, the ball carrier on that last play, as we take a look at it. And great job, as you said, Murphy, number 11 right there with a good tackle for the short gain. Just 51.4 seconds remaining here in the first half.
Well, for Hartley's defense, you gotta cover up the center on this play. So put Daniel on the center in that middle, because they're going to run the wedge. They need a yard. They've been running the wedge. They get 8. So they might, if they run the wedge, they might get it down to the 2-yard line.
Yep.
So you have to cover up that center, almost run a 50 defense. So let's see what Birch does here.
3rd down and 1.
Oh, they got the center covered up, so they have a bare defense in right now to fight against that wedge.
And they do hand it off. They're going to get the first down as they're to the 6-yard line.
And your vulnerability when you run that bare defense is off the edge. So you have to protect your edge. Anthony Murphy's up there by himself on the edge.
And they quickly snap it and spike the football. Stop the clock with 39.2 seconds left. So they've been giving Cooper the ball here so far on this drive. London has that 1 timeout remaining. They opt to just spike it because they want to set this up from the 6. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
So Hartley's back in the bare defense again, and we'll see if they sneak the guy out here underneath to the flat.
Quarterback wants to keep it himself. He goes over the right side. They've got him caught inside the 5. And now timeout. And London has burned their final timeout with about 30 seconds left.
And the vulnerability for that bare defense is on the edge. But when you have athletes out there on the edge that can run, that makes a big difference. So they're just trying to throw everybody into that boundary. And if I'm London coming back out here, I'm running the same formation, but I'm taking my wing backs and I'm faking the run, have my wing backs sneak out underneath because the linebackers can't see them.
We'll see what they opt to do here on a 3rd down and goal from the 5. And again, there's still plenty of time for them to take 2 cracks at it with 33 seconds left here.
Yeah, so the ball is on the Hartley short side. So you'll flood over here on the wide side, just flood with receivers to clear it out and have that wing come from the opposite side of the field and sneak out. If they have time, It's nice to draw it up and talk about it.
Yeah.
Until you're under duress. You got Tucson coming at you. You got all these big monsters.
Yeah. You have 16, 17, and 18-year-olds out there,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And when it's all said and done, it's a lot of pressure here.
Yep.
3rd and goal from the 5-yard line. There, as you've said, a couple of receivers to the wide side, and they want to throw it. And they do throw it incomplete. Just a little bit of a short arm throw by Dylan Coombs there.
Well, I tell you what, we're right up here in the box, and both teams are by us, and I think I'm talking a little bit too loud. I'm giving away too much information for their offensive coordinator. So they try to attack that flat, like we said. They try to clear it out in the back of the end zone.
Well, now they're going to kick the field goal. They're going to attempt to kick the field goal, and ball's going to be placed at about the 11-yard line, and Hartley is going to ice the kicker. And the field goal kicker is Ryan Fulmer, who's going to attempt this field goal of about 21 yards.
Now, this is his, if he's not the kickoff kicker, I would say this is his first time putting his foot on the ball in this cold weather. So it'll be interesting to see that versus our kicker who kicked the ball multiple times. That makes a big difference. And, you got to have the laces out, all of these things with the ball leaning. And the ball is slick out there when it gets cold like this. So the ball actually slides off the foot. So there's no grip onto that foot. So all these little things, and it's, looks like an easy 21-yarder. But there's a lot of technical stuff that goes in play.
You're right. And, for London, they've got to get some points right now. I mean, they get the ball to start the second half. So they want to get points right now.
And if they don't get points here, this might just implode them mentally.
There's a snap. They do get that ball down, and that kick is good. So Fulmer gets them on the board with 25 and a half seconds left here in the first half of this game. 10-3, Hartley has the lead.
And that will keep them in the game mentally. That'll keep their spirits up. That will help them with their attack. But I think for Hartley, they have to really secure the ball here on this kickoff because it looks like they're just going to squib it.
Hawks have one timeout left if they wanted to use it. I guess it depends upon what happens on this kickoff, but 25 and a half seconds left. Kenny and Saunders go back to receive the kick. Zach Jones will kick it off.
Well, I think it comes down to execution. You and I are sitting up here calling the plays and seeing it unfold, but it's like you said, it's the pressure and the execution when you're doing it. And it only takes Saunders maybe 6 seconds to get to the end zone from where he is.
That's right. And they do go with the line drive kick, and it is fielded by Ramacone. And he gets up to the 40-yard line, or about the 39 perhaps. 20.8 seconds left.
You have 20 seconds left with a team like this that has plenty of speed, lots of time left on the clock, and you have some timeout left. And this is where that summer 7-on-7 league comes into play, where the quarterback trusts the receivers. The receivers have some sync with the quarterback, so let's see if they stretch the field.
Underwood from under center. Turns and he hands it off to Kenny, trying to get around the corner. Richard Kenny is wrapped up and brought down at the 43-yard line. And that is going to be the final play of the first half of this game. The Hawks are looking for a big play. Didn't get it. No, actually, they will call timeout with 5.8 seconds left.
That was a late timeout.
Yeah, that was about 8 seconds after the play ended there.
So this is where Hartley mentally have to get back into it. So from the coach's side, from the player's side, from the water boy side, everybody needs to mentally get back in. You let 8 seconds run off the clock, then you call a timeout, your last timeout of the game or the first half. But you have to just kind of reorganize yourself mentally. They came out sharp first quarter.
Kind of a play do you see here?
Well, with 5.8 left, at this time, run the ball, take it into the locker room. With 20 seconds left, you got some time to go vertical.
London getting the late field goal in the first half after Hartley had built themselves a 10-0 lead. And the Hawks are going to give the football to the Red Raiders to start the second half of this game. But what do you, to summarize that first half, how do you put that into words?
So in perspective right now, Red Raiders are running off the field like they're ahead. Hawks are walking off the field like they're behind. So mentally they have to get it back together again. First quarter, they were on point, had the mental edge. Plays were being executed at a high level. Second quarter, total disarray. Mentally came apart, so they have to get back into a mental. The physical skills are there. Play calling skills are there. You have to execute, and the mental piece has to be there. Not having enough guys on the field, unacceptable. Offensive linemen blocking and fullbacks not knowing who to block, unacceptable. So you have to be there every single play.
Does that surprise you?
It does. It does. And what that is pressure. What the average person doesn't see, they just think, oh, you're not playing hard enough or you don't want to play. They all want to play. It's pressure. So we have this 10-point lead. How do we build on it or how do we hold on to it? Then that pressure starts to build up inside of you. So instead of playing the game and letting it come to you and continuing to ride it, you're trying to go out and grasp the game. You have to let it come to you, play it for what it is, and then take control of it. So the pressure is getting to Hartley. And London is playing loose. They're like, hey, we're down 10. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to run a wedge. We're going to keep, toss the ball every now and then, even though we're not successful with it. And they go trotting off the field like a couple happy deer. And we're slogging off the field like we lost the game already.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, that body language tells a lot because you saw that, and you can bet that their coaches saw that when they were running off to the locker room. That's going to be a subject before they come out to take the opening kickoff for the second half, isn't it?
That's it. And physically, Hartley has the skills. Hartley's there. The execution needs to be better. Second half, they can do that. They have a lot of football left, but you cannot come back into the second half with that second quarter play.
Yep, you got to come out in the second half, and you got to play tough defense because you have to give the ball away to start that half. So we'll see what happens. But at the end of the first half of play here, Bishop Hartley has a 10-3 lead over London in this OHSAA playoff game. This is Bishop Hartley Hawks football.
Tonight's game is being brought to you by Score on Air and the Ohio Media School, Dr. Hutta and Price Orthodontics, the Lance and Eileen Foundation, Brick League Apparel, Ohio Athletic Performance, and Green Lawn RV. If you've ever dreamed of a career in the sports production industry, your dream could come true. The Ohio Media School is enrolling their next sports emphasis class soon. You'll learn about all the different aspects of what goes into the broadcast that you watch or listen to. Go from behind the scenes to the front of the camera. You'll also get hands-on opportunities to practice your skills through the Score on Air network. Call the Ohio Media School at 614-655-5250 or visit beonair.com/Columbus.
Ladies and gentlemen, for halftime this week, we're going to show the London Marching High School Band.
featuring 4 soloists in part 2. Jacob Atkins on trumpet, Olivia Davitt on horn, James Rickens baritone, and Kylie Wilson guard. final performance. First up, a high-energy crowd rocker by Muse, Uprising. Brothers hit from 1973, Long Train Runnin', featuring our brass section, demonstrating their nerves of steel. direction, Ms. Savannah Ginn. Assisted by Ms. Kara Willerton. Additional staff includes guard instructors Ms. Sarah Lynn, Ms. Lauren Holloway Mers, and Ms. Ann Holloway Mers. The band invites you to join them this Sunday, 7 November at 1:15.
Here at Ohio Athletic Performance, we have truly aligned our passions with our path and our purpose for why we are here. The vision for our company is to be able to influence and impact other people so they have the ability to reach the heights of their genetic potential, whatever that is. We train a wide demographic of individuals, all the way from young athletes to full-grown adults. We choose the things that we program very intentionally. And beyond the physical preparation that we offer people, for us it really is about the development of the holistic person, to be able to identify the things that they need, maybe unbeknownst to themselves, and then being able to bridge the gap for whatever it is that they want in their life, or what they aspire to have, or where they say that they want to go. So for us, we have aligned our passions with our purpose, and we know that we're on the proper path. And now what we're trying to do is facilitate that opportunity for everybody else to do the same.
We take physical preparation incredibly serious here at Ohio Athletic Performance. It's something that we pride ourselves on, whether it be athletes or adult clients. It's something that we want to make sure we're providing to the best of our ability. We want to make sure it's orthopedically safe. If they need rehabilitation, that's something that we can provide for them. And as Coach Trapp said, we're always intentional with everything we do, and we want to take the right steps to give that person exactly what they need.
From the adult perspective, the three things we see: a sense of community, improved health, and a great outlet.
We are intensely passionate about what it is that we do and the service that we offer, and we would love for you to come join our community.
The Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation is a proud partner with the Ohio Media School and Score On Air Network. The foundation has provided food and other essentials to families in Columbus's Northeast Quadrant since 2018. They've also established the Porter Athletic League, which provides a safe environment for youths 8 to 13 to play sports, study, and work with volunteers from the Columbus Police and Franklin County Sheriff's Departments. For more information, visit lanceandeileenporterfoundation.org today.
Can you see yourself working on TV, radio, or social media? As media professionals, we make our voice heard. Call the Ohio Media School and be a part of something bigger than you and me. You'll train and get the skills you need to work in TV, radio, social media, film, and much more.
I graduated and now am working as a director of marketing at a local radio station. My future is set.
Call the Ohio Media School now and be a part of something bigger. 614-723-9675. 614-723-9675.
Hi, this is Bob McElligott for Hutta and Price Orthodontics. Have you ever looked forward to going to any type of a doctor? Well, neither have I, but let me tell you, I do look forward to seeing Doctors Hutta and Price when I go to their practice. You know why? Well, it's as Dr. Hutta says. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And at Hutta and Price Orthodontics, you will know that they care from the very first visit. To find out the services that they provide or to set up a consultation, just go to their website at lovethatsmile.net.
There's a pitch to Richard Kidd, and he is flying down the field, and he's not going to be caught until he crosses the end zone. Melvin hands it off to LeBeau, and he goes right into the middle of that Hartley defense and pretty much goes nowhere. Niall Johnson, and he is off and running. Another one-play possession for the Hawks. And the handoff goes to LeBeau, and he has stood up at the line of scrimmage, and he is short of the line. What a great job by that Hartley defensive front. Here's the snap and the pitch back to Deontay Hubbard. He's pushing forward, pushing, and he is in for the touchdown. First and goal at the 7-yard line. Here's the handoff, and that is going to be another touchdown for Niall Johnson, his third of the game. What a ball game for the Bishop Hartley Hawks. They are going to win 56-14. Credit to Miami Trace. They fought, just ran up against a tougher opponent.
Welcome back to London High School, where the Bishop Hartley Hawks have a 10-3 lead over the London Red Raiders. Bob McElligott and Randall Sampson here with you as we're getting set for the start of the second half. Randall, 7-point game. I don't think anybody should be surprised about that. We knew this was going to be just a smash mouth kind of a playoff football game, and that's what we've seen so far here.
Absolutely. Two teams just packing it in, running between the tackles, nothing fancy. A couple plays broke outside for Hartley. But for the most part, it's my guy versus your guy. Let's go.
And we'll see if the Hawks can come out and get on it defensively here to start this second half, because they have to kick the football away to start the half. Will Ward is the third member of our broadcast crew tonight. He's working the sidelines. And, Will, you've talked to the coaches. What can you tell us here?
I had a chance to chat with Coach Birchfield right before halftime, and he's just mentioned that they have to block up front a lot better. He wasn't satisfied by how they were running. Also, he had to sustain drives and control the clock this half. They're up 7 and just want to continue to punch that clock and milk it down as much as they can. And also, the main thing you have to do about this punt protection. They didn't get what they wanted on special teams, so that was going to be a big focus at halftime. Stop them on first downs and throw guys in the gaps on defense. Back up to you, Bob.
All right, thank you very much, Will. And that's a good point. Sustained drives. And, Randall, that's what the Hartley Hawks are known for, sustained drives. That's why they want to see more of those.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you have to get number 21, 2-1 involved in the game. And if he can't get involved in the game, you have 3 or 4 different options to go to rotate him through and create a bunch of window dressing and create some space in the inside.
So here we go. As the ball is teed up at the 40-yard line, Alex Gabriel is going to do the kicking here for the Hawks. His field goal, the 38-yard field goal he had in the first half, a huge 3 points. And that's why, that along with the touchdown they got on the first offensive possession, that's all the points for the Hawks in this game so far.
Yeah, and he's been that kid that you're counting on his leg all year long for games like this, where every single field goal, every single point counts.
And field position, that's another big part of it. Let's see where he puts this kick. And he launches this one. It will be taken at the 2-yard line and up over the 5, the 10, the 15, 20. And coming to the near sideline and getting knocked out just shy of the 35-yard line is Elijah Mitchell. So that's a very good run back and a not easy over-the-shoulder catch.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you got to look out for if you're the kicker on that, and I know we probably won't get a replay on that, but if you're the kicker, so they have what we call old school was a headhunter. So number 52 was assigned to the kicker to take out the kicker, and he whiffed and missed. But you cannot afford to have your kicker be taken out of this game. He's too valuable.
First down and 10. Dylan Combs handing the ball off, and right up the middle, and driving for a good solid 5 yards is Antoine Burns.
And that's what London wants to do. They just want to pound that inside, that middle, get a whole bunch of guys in the inside, get about 3 or 4 guys, and get a nice wall for that small running back, and just let him churn behind there.
Gain of 5 on that play. Do send a man out wide to the left, and Richard Dodson Hand it off, and again, right up the middle. This is not only a first down, this is going to be a big gainer into Hartley territory to the 36-yard line for Antoine Burns.
And that's the goal. They just want to get inside. They just run a quick little play. Linebacker stepped right and missed his step. And like we talked about at the very beginning, this is going to be a step 6 inches too far one way or 6 inches too slow the other way.
The mark him out at the 35-yard line. All for Burns, by far his biggest run of this game.
They've done a good job bottling him up.
Hand it off and try to come around the right side. Not much going on there. Deontay Hubbard, nice job on the tackle as the ball carrier was Aiden Cooper.
And Hartley does a good job just maintaining the flank right here. Keeping that leverage, fighting outside, and driving everything back inside.
Hubbard joined by Andrew McFeeters on that tackle. Pickup of 2. Second down and 8. Burns again, trying to cut back to the middle. Dylan Newsom catches him right at the 30-yard line.
And that's a quick hitter on the inside, which is what they want. Just let the little guy scatter behind those big linemen, pick up about 3 or 4 yards. So now it gives you a good opportunity here at 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 to have some plays in your back pocket. And this might be 2-down territory.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. You could change your mind if you catch somebody in the backfield maybe. But, yeah, I think you're right. The way they've run the football, they're down by a touchdown. Bring a man in motion. They hand it off and turning the corner and staying in bounds is Cooper down to the 10-yard line. The ball comes free. So they whistle it down at about the 10-yard line.
Yeah, and he gets outflanked. So the guy jumps on the inside. He goes to the outside. Hartley just punches the ball out right there. But as your guy is laying out of bounds, you can't recover while you're out of bounds.
Aiden Cooper gets that big run. First down and goal from the 8-yard line. And here goes that quarterback driving forward. Now, that wasn't quite that wedge that we've seen earlier, Randall, that time. That's a quarterback just trying to go straight ahead himself.
Yeah, and this time, Hartley's made that adjustment to where you put a guy over the center and create that wedge gap stopper. And that's what that one guy's job is. You take on 3 people, create the pile, and stop the momentum.
So they get it down to about the 6. 2-yard gain.
So let's look for the jet sweep here again.
Combs hands it off to Burns, and Rory Ralston, great job to grab him and bring him down. They'll place it inside the 5-yard line.
That's a great job by Ralston, scraping off to the outside like that. You've got 3 guys that you're fighting through all that traffic and laundry that's out there on the field. And for him to scrape down and make that tackle, that's excellent.
Well, you figure you probably still have to make 2 stops here.
Absolutely.
Got Burns in the backfield. Let's see if they go his direction with this one. Oh, they hand it off. They're going to try the jet sweep. They get to the outside, and did he get that ball forward? Looks like he did not. They put it at the 1.
He's out at the 1-yard line. Hartley's going to have to pack it up in the middle because if London does it right, they're going to run that wedge and just blast it through the middle.
That's a great job by Hubbard. He kept him from extending the football.
Yeah, and I think he's actually out at the 1.5. And, it's all inches in this game. So they gave him an extra 2 inches on that run.
Aiden Cooper was the ball carrier there. So here it is, huge play. 4th down and goal from the 1-yard line. And timeout is going to be called by the Hartley Hawks. Well, they got to burn this one early, but they want to be right on this call.
Absolutely. And it looked like up front, Hartley's defensive line wasn't quite the package that they wanted. So look at them for bringing in an extra lineman to hopefully pack it in a little bit more.
I'm just curious as to what they're going to go with here. Do you let that quarterback go right back up the middle as we've seen them do so many times tonight?
Yeah, so you got 2 options, right? So let that quarterback go up the middle on that wedge. You got a yard to go. You're averaging 6 yards on it. Or you go back with that jet sweep with 25 again. and let him stretch that corner, and they keep running jet sweep to the boundary side. So maybe this time you go to the field side, you have a little bit more room to wiggle with. But once again, when they get cute, nothing happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see what they do. So, yeah, if you don't want to be cute, just come right up the middle with it. Let's see. We are all about to find out.
And this is leverage on the inside. So those Hartley defensive linemen have to stay as low as they can, get their shoulder pads as low as they can, and get their helmets underneath the other guy's chin strap.
Set up for the wedge, it appears. Just try to lunge that thing forward. No, instead they're going to pitch it back, and Burns runs it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Yep, and they want wide side to have a little bit more room on the wide side to wiggle with. And that's the first play that they ran the toss sweep for today. So that was new for Hartley to see that.
So now London is an extra point away from tying this game at 10. Well, another good look at it right there. As you said, the first time in the game that they've run this play.
And it's difficult because you have Anthony that's out there, Murphy's out there. He has to maintain that outside edge, that leverage.
And that kick is going to be good, and that is a 10-10 game as London has fought back from the 10-point deficit. Scored on their final possession of the first half. They scored on their first possession of the second half.
So 10 unanswered, so we'll see how it goes from here.
So with 8:13 remaining in the third quarter and tied at 10, we'll step aside. This is OHSAA playoff football, and you're watching Hartley Hawks football.
The Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation is a proud partner with the Ohio Media School and Score on Air Network. The foundation has provided food and other essentials to families in Columbus's Northeast Quadrant since 2018. They've also established the Porter Athletic League, which provides a safe environment for youths 8 to 13 to play sports, study, and work with volunteers from the Columbus Police and Franklin County Sheriff's Departments. For more information, visit lanceandeileenporterfoundation.org today.
There's Trey Saunders getting ready for the kickoff here as London has just tied this game, and getting ready to kick it away is Zach Jones.
Yeah, this is like the Fury Wilder. You know, guy goes down on the mat, gets back up. So this is a heavyweight bout, and they're going to swing and swing until the very end.
Well, they kick it to Richard Kenny, and he takes it back at the 6. Kenny trying to get the Jets going. Little stutter step there, getting to the outside, turns the corner, and he's across the 30, and there's a flag that is thrown at about the 38-yard line, and another late flag for a hit out of bounds. Now, where is that first one going to be against the Hawks? That's the question. Yeah, there's no doubt what the second flag was for. So the officials will sort it out. It's a pretty good run back nonetheless.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, anytime those guys back there with speed try to make a play, you gotta take it when you can, because they can break it at any time.
Well, these guys are taking a long time to make this call, but finally it looks like they've arrived at a decision.
Well, I think they were blessing the bread and pouring the wine and getting ready for some communion, because it took some time.
So you got a hold against the Hawks, and then you've got the dead ball personal foul late hit. And I think that might have been, looked like the hold might have been against Thomas Williams. Kind of tackled his man from behind there.
Yeah, anytime you extend your arms and the official sees the extension of the arms, that's they'll call that all day long.
So here's what they do. They mark off the holding call from the spot, and then they will assess the 15-yard personal foul from that spot. And when it's all said and done, the ball's at the 36-yard line.
Just about where he went out of bounds.
Yeah, just about. That's right. So here go the Hawks. First down and 10. Dylan Newsom is in the backfield by himself. They have Niall Johnson now lined up in a slot position. They bring Saunders in motion, hand it off to Newsom, trying to break some tackles, which he did just to get 3 yards. That's a tough 3 yards right there.
Because he's a tough guy. That's the kind of guy that you want at that fullback position. You know he's going to take a hit or two, but he shrugs them off like, you know, water on the back of a duck, and he keeps moving forward.
Yeah, and he's a weapon that, they haven't used him as much this year. They've used him more in the past. He started the year injured, and while he was injured, other guys were doing the job. So, hey, you go with what works and continues to work. They've got Johnson lined up as a tailback once again, and they fake the handoff to him. They'll throw it out to Trey Saunders, turns, catches. He's got the first down, and he takes a huge hit at the 47-yard line, but he shrugs it off. It was Zach Jones that came over to knock him out of bounds.
Well, and that's the thing right there. What people don't realize is how strong this kid is. Trey is a strong kid, and you're running out of bounds and you're throttling it down, and the guy's coming like a missile at you, and you deliver the blow. Oh my goodness, what a hit!
London making some big changes on the defensive line. Let's look at this again. Let's watch this hit at the end of the play. First, he's able to catch and run, and then here it is, boom.
And he delivers the blow. Where you think he's going to get the ball, he's delivering the blow.
Put Trey in motion again. Niall Johnson looking for his first big run of the game, and that's a nice one right there. As they will give him forward progress across the 50. And it looks like they'll spot it right near the 47-yard line.
And this is some good physical running, lots of good blocking on the inside, shredding blocks, linemen getting man-on-man, body-on-body, and then piling on that pile to keep pressing.
Nice gain of 6 on first down. Again, we get so used to seeing Niall rip off those big runs, 20, 30 yards. That's obviously not going to happen tonight. Or if it does, you're going to have to work with runs like that to earn it.
And these are the games that you have to do that in.
Underwood fakes the handoff, wants to throw. Saunders looking to make a cut, and he is at the first down marker. There's a flag that comes in late. This will go against the Hawks again.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can aspire that, you can contribute that flag to the crowd.
Yeah.
Because that was a late flag. That one came out when everybody's already out of bounds.
Holding against the Hawks. Walk it off from the spot of the foul, and that'll put the ball back at the 44-yard line. And let's watch for it here.
Yeah, he goes out of bounds, and I think right there, Murph just got caught up with the kid, had his arm on him.
So it'll be second down and 13. Going to turn, hand it off to Saunders on a bit of a counter play. Trey stays on his feet and spins forward to the 45-yard line of London. That is a great run on that play.
Just the balance and ability to keep running. That play in itself, if you just watch the level of balance that he has, the patience, reading the play, and then cutting left right there, keeping his balance going down, and fighting through that last little bit. That play in itself, I had the honor to coach Aaron Purdue. That reminded me of an Aaron Purdue play all day long.
Hawks are going to call timeout. They're going to have to burn their second timeout of the half. With 5:50 remaining here in the third quarter. So, I mean, this is a huge play because it's third down and 2. You want to pick up the first down right here. You don't want to be looking at a 4th and 1 having to go for it or anything like that. You want to keep the clock moving. You want to keep heading toward that end zone.
Yeah, and you're burning a timeout here. It's 5:50 left in the third quarter. You're down to your second timeout that you burned, so you got one left in the pocket. So you got to make this one worth it, right? So this is definitely two-play territory if you're burning a timeout here.
Yeah.
Unless you get, something drastic happens, a 5-yard loss or something. But I really think that they want to think this through, get everybody their composure back because they have momentum starting to pick up now.
Yes.
So they want to make sure that that momentum continues to go forward and everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, you're right. That is very visible. And they came out there defensively and they gave up the touchdown, but this offense has come out here and they've started to make some big plays.
Yep, so 10 unanswered points, and Hartley has to find an answer here with third and 2.
So here they go. Underwood, the line drive kick taken at the 22. Jackson is going to get back up to the 34-yard line.
Field position, ball control game. when in these kind of games, you cannot afford to get too cute. Go with your bread and butter, pound it in. You have 2 downs to do it. Hartley tried to get cute on a flank of reverse, but now you have to put your defense in a situation where they have to defend and get a turnover here or flip the field on another punt.
Well, London looking to maintain their offensive success as there's a flag. And they go with that wedge play up to the 40-yard line. Initially, it's a gain of 6. False start, so instead of that gain of 6, they're going to back them up 5. First down and 15.
And here's the thing, Hartley's not even getting set. They're barely set, and they're already on their heels, pushing back. So the key to that wedge block, stay low. And have enough pride to where even take a knee and just create a pile. You don't need to stand up. Just stay low, take a knee, make a pile.
Go with that jet sweep, and Cooper's got plenty of room. He's got the first down and cuts out of bounds at about the 47-yard line of Bishop Hartley. Well, that's a play that they have working right now, Randall. They just take Aiden Cooper, bring him on the jet sweep, get him to the corner.
Yeah, that Hartley defense is reeling right now, so you got guys peeking on the inside instead of maintaining the leverage on the outside.
Actually, they say he stepped out of bounds when he got to the corner. He does get the first down, but it's at the 47 of London, not of Hartley. Hand it off and go left side this time. Nice job to stay right with his man is Rory Ralston, as Isaiah Jones was the ball carrier.
Yeah, and that's good leverage on the outside there, maintaining that, fighting that guy and let him ride it out. So it's as best as you can to make that running back go sideways. But when they go north and south and turn that corner, it's lights out.
Well, Hawks need a big play on defense here. Second down and 9. Want to just stop that momentum, and Burns goes up the middle, and he gets some decent yardage as he gets back to the 47 of the Hawks. Daniel Tucson getting credited for the tackle.
And so this is the critical third down for Hartley right here. You got to get a no gain or a stop to force them into a punt.
Third down and 4. Hand it off. They want to come to the near side, and the Hawks stay with it. This is going to be close. Once again, carrying the football was Aiden Cooper.
And here we go, fourth down.
Fourth and 1.
So are you going for it here if you're London?
Yeah.
There we go. 4th and 1, and this is what you call big boy football.
Yep. Yeah, they're going to go for it right here without question. They might just smash it right up the middle. Let's see.
And you have to stay low if you're Hartley on the inside.
Combs pitches it to Burns. Burns has the first down as he gets to the 40-yard line.
So saw some movement up front by the offensive linemen. They're twitching around, and they didn't call it. Let's take a look here up close. Yep, saw the right tackle, right tackle, left tight end, right tight end. They all flinched. Nobody called it.
Injured player on the field right now for the Hawks. So they will attend to the injured player. It is a 10-10 game. London has just picked up a first down. They continue to drive from the Hartley 41-yard line. As we step aside, you're watching Hartley Hawks football.
Can you see yourself working on TV, radio, or social media? As media professionals, we make our voice heard. Call the Ohio Media School and be a part of something bigger than you and me. You'll train and get the skills you need to work in TV, radio, social media, film, and much more.
I graduated and now am working as a director of marketing at a local radio station. My future is set.
Call the Ohio Media School now and be a part of something bigger. 614-723-9675. 614-723-9675.
The Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation is a proud partner with the Ohio Media School and Score On Air Network. The foundation has provided food and other essentials to families in Columbus's Northeast Quadrant since 2018. They've also established the Porter Athletic League. which provides a safe environment for youths 8 to 13 to play sports, study, and work with volunteers from the Columbus Police and Franklin County Sheriff's Departments. For more information, visit LanceandEileenPorterFoundation.org today. Hi, this is Bob McElligott for Hutta and Price Orthodontics. Have you ever looked forward to going to any type of a doctor? Well, neither have I, but let me tell you, I do look forward to seeing Doctors Hutta and Price when I go to their practice. You know why? Well, it's as Dr. Hutta says. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And at Hutta and Price Orthodontics, you will know that they care from the very first visit. To find out the services that they provide or to set up a consultation, just go to their website at lovethatsmile.net.
Alex Ramacone had cramped up. He is now off the field, and here's Combs up the middle, and he breaks through. He's inside the 20 and is brought down at the 10-yard line by Trey Saunders. Well, they just surprised him with the very quick quarterback draw.
Yep, it was a quick snap. Hartley wasn't ready, and then the quarterback just took off up the middle. So the offensive linemen aren't even down yet. That's a good call by them. Offensive line gets down. Defense finally gets set, goes in motion, and he just takes off running right up the middle of that wedge.
So it is a first and goal from the 10-yard line. Combs turns, hands it off to Burns. And Burns is going to get about 4. So second and goal from the 6. Well, this is where you'd like to see that big defensive play, maybe stack somebody up, knock that ball loose, anything of that kind.
Yeah, at this stage, you're just hoping that you can hold them to a field goal attempt.
Right.
Still a lot of football left, but they have a lot of momentum going their way.
A turn handed off to Burns. Up the middle he goes, and they will bring him down inside the 5 at the 4-yard line.
And what I liked about the Hartley defense at that time, you can see that they're just piling it up in the middle. So those guys are actually going down. They're staying low. They're creating that pile. And that doesn't create any room for that running back in the middle. But I really want to see Hartley, once they break that huddle, they have to get down and be ready. They have to get down and be ready.
Pitch it to Burns. Burns stays on his feet, but is going to be brought down shy of the goal line. So decision time right here. 4th down and goal from the 1.
So you got the ball here on our sideline towards the press box. So you got the wide side wide open. And I'm wondering if they're going to run that tall sweep again like they did last time on their touchdown.
We're about to find out. Hawks hustling a man in from the sidelines. They're not going. There's a flag, and it doesn't matter. It's a touchdown anyway. The confusion continues for the Hartley Hawks. They were going to get a new set of downs had that ball not gotten across the goal line because they were switching players at the 11th hour.
11.9th hour.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So there's a lot of miscommunication happening on the sidelines where we have to figure out where we're going in and out, what
Still
packages
happening.
are in.
They don't even have the right guys in for the extra point attempt. So they will attempt the extra point here as Ryan Fulmer is the kicker. Official timeout.
Looks like there was a flag in the back.
Dead ball foul.
And it's cold weather. That center's jostling the ball around, trying to get a good grip on it. And they called a legal snap on it.
So that'll put the ball at the 15. 25-yard extra point attempt. And that kick is good anyway. And London, with the last 3 scores in this game, now has their first lead, 17-10, with 40 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Everything is going red here. And for the Hartley Hawks, They've got to reach down. They have to reach down and find it somewhere, some way. And you know what? You talked about the body language at the half. It's back.
It's back. It's back. But I think one of the things that Hartley has to do at this juncture is let's get back to bread and butter. We know what bread and butter is. When you try to get cute on things, nothing happens. It doesn't work out well in this type of game. Other games, sure. But this type of game, you have to go north and south.
Yeah, the big, it was a fumble, but they recovered the fumble. But it cost him. It went from a 3rd and 2 to a punting situation and eventually turns into another touchdown for the Red Raiders. So here it is for the Hawks. They're already lined up awaiting this kickoff before London's even out there and has the ball teed up.
It's perfect. They're ready to go. And what I want to see out of this offense is a lot of motion, a lot of movement, create confusion with that defense. Right now, that defense is just teeing off, having their way. Create a lot of motion, a lot of confusion. Put the window dressing up because you have a lot of speed. Create smoke.
Right. And other than Saunders, and we've seen Richard Kenny do it a couple times here and there, but again, Niall Johnson completely taken out of this game.
But that's where you have to switch over to your other backs. You have a stable of backs. You have a really good back. You have 2 good backs back there, 7 and 31. Roll them into the sequence. Try to mix it up a little bit.
A 5-yard penalty against Hartley. And they have it teed up at the 45-yard line. And now the confusion is rampant now. The officials don't know what's going on. And I'll tell you who wants to know, Kyle Cutler, the head coach for London, because he went out on the field and he was like, hey, what's going on here?
For a playoff crew, I'm going to say it. For a playoff crew, I am not impressed with this level of officiating. It's too much confusion on their end. Late flags, early flags, no flags. Officials should not decide a game, and that's what's happening here. Whether London wins or Hartley wins, officials should not be involved in the game to this degree.
Now the officials have to talk about it without the coaches being involved in it.
So is this the confessional? Because they're all coming in now.
I don't know, but here's the whole thing. This is a kickoff. He's going to kick it through the end zone anyway. So why are you wasting all this time going through this? Put the ball somewhere, kick the ball through the end zone, and put it at the 20-yard line, and let's play. I don't get this.
It takes 6 guys to come out here and have a confessional about what they're doing and how to get it right.
And what's that conversation? You know what's happening? I don't know what's happening. You know what's happening? I haven't seen what's happening. I don't know what he's talking about. Kick the ball through the end zone or just walk it to the 20 and put it down and snap it. Let's go. There's 40 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. And this has taken way too much time for nothing.
And if I'm the London coach, I am absolutely livid right now because all of the momentum is gone. The crowd is out of the game again.
Yeah, but in all honesty, he went out there and started this.
Yeah. So now, because the placement of the ball, nobody knows where the ball should be placed. Looks like a 5-yard penalty. Don't know why. There wasn't a flag.
And again, he went out there because he wants it placed where it should be placed. Okay, I get that. Right. I understand. But as it goes on, you're right. You know, my team's got the momentum. I don't want to stand out here in 28 degrees and wait for these guys to figure out what's going on.
And what's happening up here in the box, you can hear it. So the Hartley coaches are communicating with the coaches down on the field on schematics and game plan. This is like 4 consecutive timeouts for Hartley, and they're loving it.
What did the official went back and picked something up from the base of the goalpost? He's got the rule book. Are they literally looking at the rules?
They are. So the game has paused. The game has stopped.
And it would be.
Was there a flag?
I don't know. I didn't see a flag. There was a flag on before the kick. They backed up the kicker. He kicked the extra point. Then they came out. The kicker was ready to tee it up at the 40. The official went up and they said, no, we're putting it at the 45-yard line.
Is the coach contesting the extra point kick, the flag, the distance?
That is a good point because he kicked it. It was what did I say? It was a 21-yarder?
Yeah, but it's over.
11?
It's over.
Right.
If you contested it before the kick, That's one thing.
Yeah.
The kick is over. You're getting ready to do kickoff. The ball's sitting there on the 45 for kickoff.
I've never seen this in my life.
And you're contesting a play that happened 2 plays ago?
Yeah, and again,
and stopping the play, and the official is going to go get the playbook. If I'm Hartley, this is great for Hartley. They had a kid that went out with a cramp. He's getting healed up. They've got Mr. Miyagi on the sideline doing his thing with his leg, and he's getting ready to go. So, I mean, this is great for Hartley. This is where...
Well, here, let's Will Ward is down on the field. Let's check in with Will and see. Will, have you found out what's going on down there?
So apparently there was a flag that was assessed on the kick, and the referees never let the head coach for London never let them know that there was a penalty, and they just assessed it on the kickoff. So the coach for London wants the 2-point conversion. He doesn't want it to be assessed on the kickoff. He wants it to be, he wants to go for the 2-point conversion instead of the kick. So there's the rule books. The rule books are out. The referees are having a conference. The coaches are having a conference. So that's the delay. They want to go for the 2-point instead of going for the assessment on the kickoff.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Will. That at least clears it up in some ways. But
you can't go back. You cannot go back.
Yeah. What was the flag here?
The ball was kicked. The ball was teed off for a kickoff. Now all of a sudden you want to say, hey, I want to redo it.
Yeah. Because he's saying he wasn't informed that there was a penalty. Well, I don't know, because there was a flag that backed up the extra point.
Correct.
And then where was
the second? Was there another flag on the?
So they're just saying that. So what he say? They're saying that okay, the extra point was good, and we'll assess it on the kickoff. And I'm assuming that he asked what is the penalty, and feels that he should have had the option to take the penalty right then and there, right, and then go for 2 instead of having to take that extra point and having it assessed on the kickoff. And that's what they're looking at. Now, that would explain why they would have the rule book out, because not even any of those 6 guys knows if he's allowed to do that or if they should have done it differently.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on.
And this goes back to my original point when I said I am not impressed with these officials. And then they pull this.
Yeah. Yeah, now you're less impressed.
Now I'm
and you weren't impressed before?
Weren't impressed before. Now I'm even less impressed.
This is, and again, this is a playoff game. This isn't.
This is the best of the best crew that you have.
Week 1, and hey, we're just getting back to it. This is week 12, okay? And this is selecting. As you said, you're supposed to be getting all-star crews when you start to get to this point. And I have never seen this in all the years that I have done sports. And it's like 30. I have never seen officials go and get the rules and bring them out onto the field, and they are still in conference about this and apparently can't figure it out.
And at first I thought somebody threw something onto the field when he had the bag. Then I thought, well, maybe the guy's hungry. He's running with a McDonald's bag, right? Then he comes up and he's taking stuff out. I'm like, oh, my goodness, what's going on here?
I'll give you this. Here's what I learned. I never knew they had a copy of the rules actually in the building. And I didn't know they kept it at the base of the goalpost.
Well, it's modern age. Why don't you just have it on your phone?
That's right.
What happens if it's raining if it gets wet?
I got an idea. Why don't you grab your phone and call somebody with the OHSAA and ask them, what should I do here?
That's
because obviously the 6 of these guys have no idea.
No, and you have a head of officials somewhere that knows the rules inside and out. And if you are an official sitting at home, or if you're a retired official sitting at home, give these guys a call. The number is 1-800-CALL-A-REF.
Well, and again, getting the explanation that Will gave us, you know why Kyle Cutler is out there with this, because if he has a chance to get that ball on the half-yard line or whatever and make it 18-10, well, that's obviously advantageous, because then Hartley comes down, scores a touchdown. They've got to get 2 to be able to tie the game, not just put the extra point through.
Well, the London coach knows as well as anybody else, just like Birchfield knows, and we've said this at the beginning, this is going to be a game of inches.
Right.
An inch here, inch there. So if they get the ball down for a 2-point conversion area.
They're going to change this. You watch. Because 2 officials are going over to the Hartley sideline. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but if they are going to change it, the referee himself should be going over there and having that conversation. Unless Birchfield is finally calling them over and saying, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah. And it's at the stage now where I think Birch is Birch is pleading his case.
Right.
And he's going to flip his lid.
Yeah.
Now he's pointing. And, you know, Birch is a horrible poker player. Once he pulls up his pants, when he nudges at his pants a little bit on the sides, oh, look out, buddy, it's coming. Be ready. So that's the signal that I'm looking for.
And
there it is. He's getting.
I cannot believe that, you know, through all of this, they brought out the rules, and they're still continuing to talk and talk and talk and talk.
This is total disarray.
Yeah.
You don't even get this level of officiating at Pop Warner. Bless these officials for coming out, putting the time in because they're passionate about what they're doing. But do your job. It's that simple. Do your job. Know the rules, know the officiating rules, know all the things that you're supposed to know, and do your job. You're not calling offsides. You're not calling guys jumping. You're not calling holds. This is just atrocious.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is crossed to that. And again, when there are flinches on the line and you're not throwing the flag, you know, that's one thing, and you can nitpick about that, and you know, and we will, because we see, and we get a replay and we get to see it a second time.
We see it in real life, in real time.
I know.
This is a big game, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, this is a big game.
But this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I don't know. I should probably just stop right there, but it's crossed the line. It just really has totally crossed the line. And the players are trying to stay loose on both sides now. I mean, you've got the whole. You've got both teams trying to get loose here. So, all right, let's see. Let's try to.
So he's jostling the ball. That's what causes the flag. That's the jostle with a center move the ball to the right and to the left, and they call the flag on that. And so at this point, now they're going to move the ball back. They say you can't jostle the ball.
So that's the illegal snap call. And he's explaining to him why he's calling that.
And that's not up to Hartley or up to London to accept or deny the penalty. It's up to Hartley. So Hartley says, yeah, move him back. So it's the next play that we want to see. What was this call? Was it?
All right, so here they are set up for the extra point.
So the guy jump over the top. Nope, they all jump straight up. Is there a flag? There's no flag in the back. I don't see a flag on the field. Officials are running back to their spots. Oh, he's talking to the coach on the side.
Yeah.
But there's no flag. Now they're all coming over to the coach on the side because the coach was yelling about the flag.
And that was about 15 minutes ago.
And I feel bad for these kids. These kids don't deserve this.
Right.
These kids do not deserve this mayhem and craziness. They've been through enough in the last 3 years of trying to keep a season together, get to the playoffs, get some normalcy. Parents out here doing what they do best. The band is out here. God bless the band. The band is out here trying to keep warm and keep their thing going. The cheerleaders are doing it. Everybody's doing their parts except for the officials.
And the conversation continues and continues.
And there's a gentleman down there in jeans and a jacket. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I was wondering, is he a supervisor or what is that guy?
I don't know if that's the athletic director.
Oh,
but whoever he is, he should not be on the field.
Well, he's got a headset on.
Well, he's not the timeout guy. Whoever he is, he should not be on the field, period. And they're calling him back, asking him for questions.
I was wondering if he was a OHSAA representative is what I was wondering. Because they're giving him the rules back. The bag of rules. So now, well, I think it's going to stay just as it is now. Based on the fact that there are 4 officials on one side and only one going to the other side of the field to talk with Brad Birchfield of Bishop Hartley. In the meantime, as we said, the players are just trying to stay loose and stay warm.
And this is the worst when you have that sweat going coming out of the second quarter. and you're getting it all back again after halftime, third quarter. You got that sweat going again. Now it's stopped, and that sweat is ice cold on your back. And you got to get those hamstrings warmed up again, get the hip flexors loosened up.
Now, the referee started toward the Hartley sideline, and Brad Birchfield said, I've heard enough. They're not changing anything, so just go. Let's go.
We need to find out what happened on that by the end of the game. Now,
we'll tee it up at the 45.
Now, let me say this to be clear for the folks out there listening. There's lots of people out there listening. If you are at home, do not come up to the stadium with an attempt to do anything. Because there are crazy people out there. We understand that. Do not come up here. We have great sheriff's department, great security here. So if you're watching at home, just cool your jets. Let the kids play. Let them have fun. You had your chance as an adult to play. Your days are over. There's still the Turkey Bowl coming up, so don't get injured.
Squib kick. And Saunders picks it up at the 11-yard line. Or take that back. That's Richard Kenny who has it. Nice reversing of the field. And Richard is going to get across the 30-yard line. I'll tell you what, for a kid that had to stand around for about 15 minutes, that's a good run.
That's a great run, a great change of field position. But, you know, all those kids out there, all 22 of them are stiff as all can get out now. So trying to get those muscles back up and loosened up.
Now, can you take advantage? If you're the offense, can you find a way to take advantage of the defense in that situation?
Right.
We shall see. 17-10. London has the lead.
And, you know, if you're Hartley, you got to create a lot of motion, create a lot of confusion, but stick with your bread and butter. Use the motion and confusion to open up holes.
Underwood and Saunders having a lengthy conversation before the snap. Underwood throws it to Saunders, breaks that first tackle, and almost breaks the second one. He lunges forward. How about that? And 3 pushes to get the first down.
And that's the level of strength that we're talking about, where he's dragging a guy on his leg. Average wide receiver's going down right there on the hit, but he takes the hit and drags the guy and says, come on, let's go, let's go.
And that's going to be the final play of the third quarter as Trey Saunders picks up the first down. The Hartley Hawks are down by 7 points here at the end of 3. They had the lead up until the last offensive possession by the Red Raiders of London, but the Hawks are driving as we head to the fourth quarter. You're watching Hartley Hawks football.
Tonight's game is being brought to you by Score on Air and the Ohio Media School, Dr. Hutta and Price Orthodontics, the Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation, Brick League Apparel, Ohio Athletic Performance, and Green Lawn RV. If you've ever dreamed of a career in the sports production industry, your dream could come true. The Ohio Media School is enrolling their next sports emphasis class soon. You'll learn about all the different aspects of what goes into the broadcast that you watch or listen to. Go from behind the scenes to the front of the camera. You'll also get hands-on opportunities to practice your skills through the Score on Air network. Call the Ohio Media School at 614-655-52. And a proud partner of the Ohio Media School. For all of your custom apparel needs, visit the Brick League at wearebrick.com and check out their amazing styles today.
Here we go to the fourth quarter. Fake of a handoff, and Anthony Murphy takes a throw, gets to the 50, and there is a late flag that comes in from the 40-yard line.
There's 2 flags, linemen on both sides.
So Hartley looked like they may have come close to picking up another first down, but an eligible receiver downfield against the Hawks.
That's a level of miscommunication. Offensive linemen don't know to call their run blocking instead of pass blocking going downfield.
First down and 15. Murphy's off the field now. I got Saunders lined up on the right side. Richard Kenny's on the left side. Underwood fakes a handoff, wants to throw, and he goes down the far sideline. And that ball is going to be incomplete, almost intercepted over on the far sideline. It was intended for Richard Kenny, and the guy in coverage there was Damian Roby.
Well, and you have to run levels on this. You can't just go into double coverage like this. So you have to run levels to pull that safety off a little bit. It was a one-man route. Everybody else stayed in.
Second down, 15.
And Hartley has to get 6-7 yards back here at a time to get in front of the chains.
Underwood hands it off to Saunders, and Trey gets past the original line of scrimmage.
All right, so that's that 6-7 yards. That puts you in some business now, so your playbook's open a little bit more. This is definitely 2-down territory, depending on how you do on this play right here.
Yeah, well, maybe not even, because quite frankly, if you give them the ball back with 10 minutes left, if they have a drive like they've had, they're going to take
time off.
Take it all off the way they've been running it.
So the key here is for Hartley not to panic. Maintain your composure, run your plays, and execute.
Fake the handoff, the throw, and Trey Saunders makes that catch for the first down. Inside London territory at the 48-yard line.
And that's what you call a pro. Knowing exactly where you need to get for the first down, running past the stakes, and giving your quarterback an opportunity to throw it low to only you can get it and make that catch.
And having Richard Kenny come in motion right there, you gotta respect that sweep.
You have to, and that's the window dressing that we're talking about, right? You have to create confusion, create smoke with all that speed.
First down at 10. Take a handoff, they throw it out to Saunders. Nice cut to the 45, back inside the 40-yard line. He'll be down at the 37. Or no, they're going to mark this at the 39. Actually, they say his knee went down.
It'll mark him just short. And what I really like about this play is they're pressing Saunders, so he's going to make that first guy miss. And what I would like to see him do on that play, if I were him with all that 4.3 speed, right? Get up as close as you can to that guy and make him commit, then you cut off of that. He cut too soon, but he also knows he wanted to get that first down.
Second down and 1. They're swinging out to Dylan Newsom. And Newsom's got the first down and more as he's taken down near the 32.
Oh, I tell you what, he reminds me of the old fullback from the 49ers, Rathman.
Yeah.
And when he goes downhill, oh, look out, bad things happen. And he just rumbles and bumbles and stumbles. And those guys are actually moving out the way. They're acting like they're going to tackle him, but they're faking the tackle so they don't get hurt. And he got dinged up going out of bounds there a little bit, so hopefully he can shake it off.
Well, he's lined right back up in the backfield, so he's already shaking it.
That's that tough wrestler.
There he goes, right up the middle. Nice sidestep, spins off a tackler, and will be drugged down at about the 6.
And that's that 49ers running back I'm telling you guys about. He went right down the middle, right down their throat and said, stop me, come on, I dare you.
The quick hitter, watch this. Just a turn, a handoff, and see you later.
And this is the power that he has, the ability to see the field and get through, jumps over that first tackle, breaks 3, and he's down here to his 4th tackle, and he's trying to shake him off. But that's that wrestler, that toughness, that grit. I wish just about half the team could wrestle just to have that experience of what it's like to be man-on-man with one person and whip them.
First down and goal from the 6-yard line. Hawks down a touchdown. And hand it off to Johnson, and Niall Johnson is into the end zone. He has been quiet all night. He takes it there, quick step to his left, and he finds the seam.
So you want to spite your face and cut off your nose syndrome, right? So when that coach challenged that call, it gave Hartley 8 timeouts. Mm-hmm. And you can see right here, Hartley's fresh. The linemen know where they're going. There was great communication on the sideline during those 8 timeouts. So you sat there for an entire quarter and gave Hartley time to talk and scheme.
Alex Gabriel has tied the game with the extra point. And there's this touchdown run again by Niall Johnson into the end zone, and the Hawks respond. But you're absolutely right. All the momentum in the world was on the London sideline. And after that long stoppage to talk about the rules and the penalties and if they assessed it right and all that stuff, the Hawks come right out of that and wind up with a touchdown.
And you got greedy. Greed does that to the best of us every now and then. And you're seeing guys who are cramped up at Hartley. It gave them time to stretch, get hydrated, and I think over there behind the bench you can see Mr. Miyagi was back there working on some legs and getting things loosened up for the guys. So now Hartley has the momentum, answering for the first time. I think this is 17 points that they went unanswered, and so Hartley methodically went down the field and answered.
Now you got to make the plays defensively, make the stops defensively, because again, 8:17 left. If London plays the way they want to, they can utilize that entire clock and get down there and get a score.
Absolutely.
So the defense is going to be leaned upon heavily here right after this kick by Gabriel. Another kick that's going to be shy of the end zone. This one will be taken at the 7. Jackson. Or take that back. That's Cooper. A great tackle at the 25-yard line, turned in by the Hawks. And I believe the guy on that tackle, I think it was Carson Schaefer that got him.
The center, Carson Schaefer. Great tackle, quintessential rugby tackle that you want to have. Go low on the guy and roll and bring him down to the ground.
So they'll place it at the 31. Let's see what this defense can do right now.
So does Hartley's front four have enough left in the tank on defense to really push back on this offensive lineman for London?
Up the middle to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, getting
take that back, 33, sorry.
Yep, getting a 6-yard gain on the first down, that really opens up your playbook. And we got guys trying to go, what we call that is backdoor, where you try to reach around and make the tackle instead of going across the guy's face.
Second down and 4. Really starting to lean on Antoine Burns, who's their feature back. Hand it to him again. Ralston caught him right about at the first down marker. And they've indicated, the officials already indicate that he's got the first down. Tell you what, they have great eyes, because I thought that was right at the marker. And the officials just said, go ahead and move him.
Well, clearly they have great eyes because they can read the fine print on the rule books. So we already know their eyes are good, right?
That's a good point. Well, the Hawks could use a turnover here somehow, some way. Strip that football or whatever it takes.
Well, it takes a couple losses right there. You got to keep them at about 2 yards, 1 yard carry.
Cooper takes the ball and gets a couple. You saw right at the end of that too, Randall. They were trying to stack him up a little bit there, see if they could get that strip.
Yeah, it's the strip in the McRib sandwich. That's what you want.
Make sure they were just trying to make sure he didn't really get to turn that corner.
That's right. Because the key right now is to get field position, hopefully work them into a situation where we have to punt it. So get short yardage here.
There goes that right up the middle with the wedge, and Combs gets to the 45-yard line. That's going to leave him with a 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, you have to go back to that Bear defense. You got to cover up that center, and every time that center's not covered up, they're going straight ahead.
Well, there you look at it. And you can see when the center lunges forward, it's a guaranteed 3 yards.
Absolutely.
3rd down play. Turn and pitch it. Burns picks his way through the left side. He's got the first down, and Johnson runs him out of bounds. .548 to go here in the 4th quarter. Game tied at 17.
And that's just good play calling. We got a little hold on the inside there, but they're not going to call that. You get Tucson taking on 3-4 guys down the line as they're holding him, but they're not going to call that. That's just good football on the inside.
Now London, this is what they've done offensively.
Yeah, if I'm Hartley, I take my 2 down linemen on the inside and pinch them. That's what we call pinch. Basically, both guys, you're going after the ear hole of the center.
Cooper goes in motion to hand it off to Burns, and he's not going to get much.
And that time, Hartley's 2 defensive linemen on the inside maintained integrity. But right now, we'll call that pinch on the inside. Both defensive tackles, their only goal is to put their face mask on that center's ear on both sides and basically try to pop it. But what that does is it creates a wedge going the other way, and it forces the running back to bubble up.
They hand it off, and over the right side they go, and that's a big gainer down to about the 36-yard line, and they get another player involved there. Noah Solers takes the football this time, and again, it's going to be 3rd down and short.
Yep. So we got to get penetration to make the running back go sideways instead of going right downhill. He's running downhill, going past his offensive lineman. So we have to get some penetration, and the best way to do it is just have those two guys, those two bulls on the inside, slant down.
Combs barking out instructions. Hand it off to Burns. Again, not much. Trying to drive forward. And he got to the marker. And again, they just send the markers straight down the field.
But I'll tell you what, that was not a bad play by the defense on that play. But that's how they need to do it every play. You have enough speed on the outside, so you're not too worried about that. But you have to be able to shore up that middle on the inside, and you have to schematically do it.
Clock continues to turn. Approaching 4 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. Remember, Hartley had to burn 2 early timeouts in this half as well. And good job by the defense this time as they have the ball carrier contained.
And that's exactly what you want to do. That is the quintessential play that we're talking about. You have to bubble up on the inside. You create a wedge on the inside as a defense, and you're forcing those offensive linemen back. Now those running backs are going sideways, and your linebackers are scraping downhill. Every single play should be that way.
2nd down, 10. Burns alone setback. They're going to pitch him the ball. He wants to get around the right side, trying to pick his way through, and he's going to get to about the 30.
That's a lot better play. The running back actually had to shuffle a little bit. Half a step. That's all it takes. Make him be indecisive.
So it is a 3rd down and 5.
And I don't know what kind of leg their kicker has. This might be 2-down territory.
I would think so, because even from the 35, that makes it 52, or from the 30, sorry, that makes it 47 yards. Here comes a pass, near side, and that is caught. And that ball gets to the 20-yard line. That is a huge play. Isaiah Jones with a reception.
Yep, and that's the play that we talked about where they sneak that flanker out. He's coming in motion and then just goes right out into the flat. And it's a good job coming over late by the safety, but they only needed 5, and they got 5 and a half.
Now London, and they have their full complement of timeouts as we get down to 2:08 remaining here in the 4th quarter. They are going to take their time because their intention is to burn as much as they can, score and win the game and advance in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And Hartley has to pinch both A-gaps. That's in between the center and the guards.
And they go with the wedge right up the middle and continue to drive it extremely well. Look, he's still going all the way down to the 5-yard line. That is unbelievable. You couldn't figure out a way to stop this play all night.
Well, you got to make the adjustments on the sideline for your defensive linemen, but schematically you have to make those adjustments as well. You have to pinch on the inside.
Well, now London is sitting exactly where they want to be.
Yep.
Just chip shot field goal if you can't get into the end zone. The Hawks are going to have no time. They have only 1 timeout. Now what could stop all of that is a bad handoff or a mishandled snap. Hand it off to Burns. Burns driving to the 4. And they will let that clock roll.
Yeah, but in that case, you're depending on the football gods to be on your side instead of having fate in your own hands.
Yes. They just let this go all the way down, and try to get a field goal and not hurry themselves here. It'll be interesting to see. Combs taking his time, and he has the time to take. They pitch it to Burns, and Burns trying to go over the right side. He's close, but he's down at the 1. And timeout will be called by London now, with 23.6 seconds left. See how close he was.
Yep.
The knee gets down at the 1-yard line. You see it right there.
Yep. And actually, he was down, with replay up here, he was down half-yard short. His knee went down about a half-yard short, so the ball is actually marked favorably for them at the 1-inch line.
So the ball sits almost touching the goal line here.
Now, Bob, so it's one of those things where you're not going to have enough time left, right?
Yep.
So 2 minutes left. Do you tell the defense let them score?
That's a good question.
Because they're just pounding at 8 yards at a clip and running the ball down. You don't have any timeouts.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So even this play right here, let's say you snap the ball, 23 seconds, you let them score, it's 21 seconds.
Yeah. Third down and goal from the 1-inch line, and another timeout's going to be called. That's a really good point, to be honest with you, because that will give you, as you said, 21 seconds. You got to return a kick.
Well,
you've got a strong arm quarterback too,
and you have a lot of speed.
Yes, speed and a strong arm quarterback.
And in the modern age of football, 20 seconds is a lot of time. That's the old 2-minute drill that we used to do.
Yep.
20 seconds. They have 20-second drills. They have 40-second drills, and they have the 1-minute drill. So they have specific plays ready for that. But if you tackle this guy and he comes up short, they're running the clock all the way down to 3 seconds.
Right.
Kick the field goal. Kick a chip shot field goal.
Now London came into this one the number 4 seed, Hartley the number 5 seed.
And if I'm London, do you take a knee? Snap the ball, take a knee, let it run down. Avoid a fumble.
Burns lined up in that tailback position. And
officials again.
It was a flag. And they say the offense was lined up offsides.
Now they're saying defense.
What?
First they said offense, now they're saying defense.
Oh, well, that's not a surprise. They have to reset the game clock. These guys just can't stay out of the game to the very end.
No. And I feel bad for the kids on both sides. Now we have more confusion.
Uh-huh. So here it is, third down from the 1-inch line. They hand it off, touchdown. 21.3 seconds left. And London in the lead again.
So are you going for 2? Or you kick an extra point here if you're London?
I kick the extra point. I'm kicking the extra point and figuring my defense is not going to let that offense get down the field and get the points they need.
And this Hartley defense really played tough all the way down to the end.
And they do add the extra point. So it is 24-17 with 21.3 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. And the Hawks season is on life support right now. Well, this game is exactly what we thought it would be. It's just two teams that have good lines, love to run the football, smash mouth. It's what we've seen all night long. And London, they were down 10-0. They got that field goal right before the end of the first half. They came out, first drive of the second half, they scored to make it a 10-10 game. Got the football back. They made it 17-10. The Hawks, they rebounded from that, tied it at 17, but here they are right now in a position that nobody wants to be in. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. You want to have time on the clock, and they'll have time on the clock.
Yep, and if you're Hartley, take the kickoff, run in a straight line. If you get tackled, get down and get tackled, save time. Do not run around.
Yeah, that's a great point. You don't want to waste the time on that. You want your offense on the field.
Time is too precious in this situation. And if it's a squib kick, up lineman, get it advance as straight as you can and fall down. Don't wait for them to tackle you.
Yeah, stop
the clock.
They're looking for the squib kick. They've got Kenny is up at the 20-yard line. Saunders not far behind him. And they will go with the kick toward the near sideline, and this ball will get out of bounds. That's huge. Started to roll down that sideline, so Hartley can either take it with the penalty or they can make them kick it over. They're going to make them kick it over.
And what are we talking about with the kickover? Is that 5 yards? 5 yards back?
Where do they put the ball? The 35-yard line?
Oh, no.
I guess they're not going to.
Oh, no. Here goes the officials. They're all on the sidelines trying to figure it out again.
Yeah, what's there to figure out? If they say they want it re-kicked, they have to re-kick it. Right?
Right. Now the London coach is petitioning.
Well, last time this happened, Hartley benefited from it, so. Oh, they're just looking for a football.
This is a motley crew of stuff happening.
Oh, yeah. Yep. On this. Oh, yeah. So you were asking about the 5 yards. Yes, yeah. You're exactly right. So they put it back at the 35.
So those upbacks need to come up a little bit, too. They need to come up to about the 25 or so because they're going to squib kick it again. So come up to about the 25.
Right now they're staying at the 20.
Then they put time back on the clock, too.
Right. 21.5 seconds.
My headset's out.
And there is the kick. Kenny's got it.
Oh, Lord. Oh.
There's not much to say about that.
I mean, that wasn't even a clean toss. That was just a wild toss for no reason. You didn't need any panic on that.
17.7 seconds left. No, and it just reminds you that where the game turned on that 3rd and 2 where Trey Saunders was trying to pitch it to Richard Kenny and he dropped it.
Yep.
And now they go the opposite way. Underwood gets it to Johnson.
Oh.
Up the far sideline. He'll step out of bounds. 11 seconds left.
There's a hook by the left tackle. Hooked the guy down, so we're going to get a hold on that one.
And that is put at the 25-yard line. That's where the flag is.
And that was actually a really good call by the official. That was a pure hook.
So 11 seconds left here. At the point of the hook and laterals down the field here.
Yeah, you got to get to the sidelines, keep the ball on the perimeter.
Underwood, pump fake, now he throws, out of bounds. That'll leave 5.7 seconds left. Second down and 19. Hawks came into this game with a 9-2 record on the year. They played a very tough first 4 games, they split those games 2-2, won 7 in a row, including last week's playoff game. And Randall, it's been a great season, but they're going to walk away from this one, and they're going to feel as though they had the talent to go further than they did this year.
Yeah, this one's going to hurt. This one is a stinger. Sometimes you play above where you really are. With this game, they had it in hand that first quarter. They were rolling. They came out in second quarter mentally. They just fell apart that second quarter. They made a good comeback. London had 17 points unanswered. Hartley came all the way back. But it just seemed like it was just too much. But you have the talent. They just couldn't bottle it all up. They did a good job. London did a good job maintaining Hartley's running game. There's some things that Hartley probably could have done a little bit different from the boxes we're talking. But this one's going to sting.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And you're right about London. You give them credit. They were down 10-0. They didn't blink. They just came out, kept doing their jobs, and their job's going to take them to the next level of the playoffs here. Underwood takes a snap. Pressure. Throw down the middle. Incomplete. 0.7 seconds left.
Are you kidding me?
So you'll get one more play. One more play on the season for the Hawks. Can they pull a miracle on this play?
You got to complete it and then just keep the ball alive. Keep moving the ball down the field. You can't go down, pitch it. Do whatever you need to do, keep the ball alive.
All comes down to this. Underwood throws over the middle. Saunders. And he tries to make a pitch. And the ball is on the ground. London falls on it. And that's the game. The Red Raiders advance in the OHSAA playoffs here in Division III as they knock off the Hartley Hawks by the final score of 24-17 in this regional quarterfinal here tonight. Welcome back and wrap it up as we continue. You're watching Hartley Hawks football.
Can you see yourself working on TV, radio, or social media? As media professionals, we make our voice heard. Call the Ohio Media School and be a part of something bigger than you and me. You'll train and get the skills you need to work in TV, radio, social media, film, and much more.
I graduated and now am working as a director of marketing at a local radio station. My future is set.
Call the Ohio Media School now and be a part of something bigger. 614-723-9675. 614-723-9675.
The Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation is a proud partner with the Ohio Media School and Score on Air Network. The foundation has provided food and other essentials to families in Columbus's Northeast Quadrant since 2018. They've also established the Porter Athletic League, which provides a safe environment for youths 8 to 13 to play sports, study, and work with volunteers from the Columbus Police and Franklin County Sheriff's Departments. For more information, visit lanceandeileenporterfoundation.org today. Hi, this is Bob McElligott for Hutta and Price Orthodontics. Have you ever looked forward to going to any type of a doctor? Well, neither have I, but let me tell you, I do look forward to seeing Doctors Hutta and Price when I go to their practice. You know why? Well, it's as Dr. Hutta says. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And at Hutta and Price Orthodontics, you will know that they care from the very first visit. To find out the services that they provide or to set up a consultation, just go to their website at lovethatsmile.net.
Welcome back here to London High School, where The Red Raiders have advanced in the OHSAA football playoffs. They beat Bishop Hartley 24-17. The final score in this one, there you can see the jubilant celebration by the Red Raiders. Time now for our solid brick player of the game, and Antoine Burns. You got to give this guy credit because earlier in the game, Randall, he was having problems finding his rushing yards, but when it came down to crunch time, he scores 2 touchdowns, leads his team to victory.
They had him bottled up very well, but you know what? Big-time players step up in big-time games. He was able to find some holes, find some seams, and then score those 2 touchdowns at the end. And the first touchdown came on a play that they didn't run the entire game, which was a toss sweep to the wide side. And I know Hartley was anticipating something else, but he did a great job doing that, untouched into the end zone. And then the last touchdown was the game sealer for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the way they ran the ball, the way they controlled the ball. That was the difference in the game when it was all said and done. They played like we've become accustomed to seeing Bishop Hartley play, where you take the ball, you have those long, sustained drives, you burn clock, and you take away the opportunity from the other team. You don't leave them enough time to get anything done, and that was done to the Hawks, especially on that last drive.
Well, but most importantly, and credit to them, they made the in-game changes. They played the chess match in game and made the appropriate changes. You can tell that their coaches were well versed, made the changes that were needed, whether it was the jet sweep to keep us off our feet and going to the same play over and over again with the wedge, and us not having the answer for it, us not being Hartley not being able to make that adjustment in game. That speaks volumes about the difference that you have to have in these tight games. It's just not the players on the field. It's the chess match that occurs up in the box, down on the sideline.
When the season comes to an end, it's high school football, so there are some guys, their high school career comes to an end. And I'll tell you some guys that are going to be very dearly missed for the Hartley Hawks. Daniel Tucson, he's played since he's been a freshman. We've watched him develop over the course of the past 4 years and become a major big-time impact player. Trey Saunders, we talked about him all night. He's been the everything offensively for this team throughout the course of the year. Richard Kenny, he's a senior. His high school career comes to an end here tonight. Deshaun Tucker from the linebacker spot. Niall Johnson, he didn't have a good night tonight because they had him taken care of. They had him wrapped up, but he's been so important to this team all year. And that's not, I'm trying to key on some guys that we talk about week in and week out, and there's so many other seniors on this team that this was it tonight. And this is, again, it's always hard to take when that high school career comes to an end, but in a game like this where you feel like you could have had it and you didn't have it, that's going to be an even more bitter pill to swallow for those guys.
Yeah, and it really stings. This is the second time Hartley's been out to London on this field at least and haven't walked away with a victory. A few years ago came here, we made that big comeback, almost had it, and the guys left everything they could on the field. Tank was totally empty. Here, it felt like, give us one more minute. we can get it, And we just ran out of time. Hartley ran out of time, but it hurts. It stings the same. When your season comes to an end, the same guys that you've played football with since 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade, now all of that has come to a halt. The brotherhood continues in other ways, but being on the football field together with those guys in that locker room in the trenches, it's difficult to let that go.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to let it go, but that's the way it is. The season finishes with a final mark of 9-3. Looks great on paper, but it's when you don't continue on and you don't when you're done in the playoffs, you don't feel good about it today. Maybe you look back on it later and you feel okay about it, but you sure don't feel good about it today.
But I'll tell you what, these young men have nothing to hang their heads about as far as their careers here at Hartley. They've really made an imprint and left a lot on the field for Hartley and has built a next generation of kids that are coming up. So they should not hang their heads at all. The outcome didn't go the way they wanted it to. But what they don't understand is the legacy that they have left and the imprint that they have left for the next generation forward. So now they have an opportunity to come back, either coach or cheer on the next group of kids and really keep this thing going.
Or mentor.
And mentor. That's right.
That's going to be very important. Well, I'd like to take just a minute here to thank everybody that's been involved this year. I'd like to thank the crew from the Ohio Media School and the Score on Air Network. Adam Dell heads up the graduate program over there, the sports emphasis program at the Ohio Media School. We got involved with them last year, and they have done a fantastic job. It's grown by leaps and bounds over the course of the last 2 seasons. So thanks to them for all of their help and all of their support in doing this. I'd like to thank everybody that was involved in broadcast this year. And Matt Barnes was here last week. And, Randall, it's been great to work with you. I've really thoroughly enjoyed doing these games with you this year. It was kind of a plan that happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I forget what game it was. They're like, well, Randall will come in and do it.
Yeah.
You've been here week in and week out, putting the work in, and it's so much fun. I've enjoyed doing these games with you so much this year, so thanks.
I appreciate it. I have too. I think it's a great opportunity for you guys just to ask me to do it. And, I learn as I go and kind of make it happen. But, there's a part of me that I want to take the headset off and jump on the headset with the other side and yell down plays, and but I can't do that. So I just enjoy it from up here, and I can talk about the officials a little bit, and really brag on the kids. That's what the big part is all about. Brag on the kids, talk about their great things that they're doing, what life is going to hold for them next.
All right. Well, again, it's been a lot of fun. Will Ward's down on the field. And he has Antoine Burns down here. We named him as our player of the game tonight. Let's give it down to Will. Go ahead, Will.
I'm here with Antoine Burns, the player, Berkeley player of the game. Antoine, you guys battled back. You showed toughness. Just talk to me a little bit about what it feels like to get that victory win over Bishop Hartley today.
Well, we came in, we knew they were going to be a tough-ass team. I mean, we played them before. They beat us a couple years ago, and we knew they were going to be big. It was just the game plan was to wear them out. We went into halftime, made some adjustments on offense, defense as well. Our defense took care of it, but it's up to that O-line up front. They did everything. O-line was blocking their butts off, and I wouldn't have any touchdowns or be the player of the game if it wasn't for my O-line. They did great.
So moving forward in the playoffs, what do you guys have to do to continue to go on this journey in the playoff run?
We just have to keep making those game time adjustments like we did at halftime. If some of those plays that we were running offense weren't working, so we had to switch our game plan up. We just got to keep blocking and working our butts off. I mean, we were in the summer working our butts off. The winter time, when nobody was looking, we were still working our butts off. It's all in that weight room. Coach Wendler, shout out to him, and all our coaches, they worked our butts off year round.
So we know that you're a wrestler also. How much is that training comes into you running toughly into the fourth quarter? We seen you get a touchdown at the end of the fourth quarter. How much is that training comes into football?
It helps out a lot, really with my balance. When I get hit, it usually takes more than one person to take me down, but it really helps with my balance, I feel like. Without wrestling, I mean, I wouldn't be a back like I am right now. I mean, we're running tough, but wrestling's like my main thing, and without that, I wouldn't be a great back like I am.
All right, thank you, Antoine, and good luck on the rest of the playoffs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well, it's so funny, Antoine Burns, you hear him talking about wrestling there. You were talking about Dylan Newsome of the Hawks and how the wrestling helps him, and he's such a tough competitor. And you talked about there in the game. There's another guy same way, battling at the very end to make sure that his team gets a victory. So, but what he said is what you preached during the game. It was about the adjustments. They made the adjustments. At the half, they went in. They made some adjustments. They adjusted as the game went on, and those adjustments led to their victory.
Yes, the end-game adjustments is those moving the pawns and moving the rooks and moving the king and all the other stuff that goes in that chess game, in that chess match, and that's where Hartley got caught. Like I said, it's 6 inches here, 6 inches there is going to be the cause of this game. And it came down to 6 inches down on that goal line. Can we hold them for 6 inches? And we couldn't. And that caused the game.
All right. Well, I was thanking people. And I've got two more people that I definitely want to thank. And that is Andrew Jahan, who's vice principal over at Bishop Hartley, who we deal with to bring you these productions week in and week out. And, of course, the head coach of the Hartley Hawks, Brad Birchfield, who gives of his time every week to do the coaches show with me and has been nothing but extremely supportive of these broadcasts for his team and getting the message out there. And the message still is, and Randall talked about this, the message still is that it is it's a fraternity, it's a tradition, it's a way of life when you play Hartley football. And even though this is going to sting, and even though they're going to feel like they came up short, they could have done so much more, next year they're going to be back with a new group, and it's going to be that same work ethic, and it's going to be nothing will change except some of the names.
Yep, and that's what happens at Hartley. Tradition does not graduate. We get great players come and go, but the tradition of excellence does not graduate, and that's what it's all about. And the key to this is also Hartley's going to graduate 100% of their kids. They're going to go on to college. We have a lot of kids that go into college, to military service, or directly into a great job. And that's what the key is for Hartley. It's life after sports. Sports is great great extracurricular activities, but it's all about being college prep and moving forward in life. And that's what Hartley prepares. Hartley prepares kids like this, where they take a moment like this and they're going to hit adversity again at the job. They're going to hit adversity in college. They're going to hit adversity in their own personal relationships. They're going to hit adversity with their own personal God and their faith. And how do you get past that hump in life and continue to move forward? That's what Hartley teaches these kids.
Well said. Well said. Very good, my friend. Thank you so much. Appreciate all the hard work throughout the course of the season. That's going to wrap it up from here at London, where the Red Raiders knocked the Hartley Hawks out of the OHSAA football playoffs. Again, the final score 24-17. For Randall Sampson, I'm Bob McElligott saying good night, and thanks for watching Hartley Hawks football.
Tonight's game is being brought to you by Score on Air and the Ohio Media School, Dr. Hutta and Price Orthodontics, the Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation, Brick League Apparel, Ohio Athletic Performance, and Green Lawn RV.